DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
With the 14th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Carter Bryant from the University of Arizona.
Well, it took maybe a few more picks than we thought it was going to take for Carter Bryant to hear his name called in the first round of the NBA Draft, but he heard it called 14th overall, and he is going to the San Antonio Spurs, the 80th player in Arizona basketball history to be selected into the NBA Draft. Pretty impressive haul there for the program here in Tucson. Welcome to the program today, DK on the Sports Tip. Number to get in, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We can talk about Carter Bryant and heading to San Antonio. I know J-Dub is really excited about that one.
Yeah, no, I just think it's, like we said last week, I think it's you could not pick a perfect landing spot for Carter Bryant. He's a high-character guy. His game matches exactly what the Spurs need. And come on, De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama, how about Jeremy Sohan? We even talked about him. We even talked about him on the roster. There's just a lot of really high-quality young players on that team. And as far as I'm concerned, the culture of the Spurs franchise over the last 30 years, DK, has to be right up there among the best of all professional sports. So as far as not too much pressure being put on the young man, however, expectations amongst a bunch of really good dudes in a really good locker room, I think Carter Bryant found the perfect place, Dragon Ball, for him to start his NBA career.
Perfect place for him to start it. Now, the question is how long is it going to take for him to eventually potentially hear his name in a top 5 starting lineup in the NBA? Because we mentioned it, there's some depth with this Spurs team now all of a sudden because, again, Harrison Barnes will likely be still a top 5 starter for the Spurs. And then you've got Devin Vassell, Julian Champagnie, and then there's also Keldon Johnson, Stephen Castle, and Dylan Harper, who they also took in the top 2. It'll be interesting to see where Carter Bryant mixes himself into the rotation in regards to the minutes. But if you want to have a good place where you can learn, this is going to be a good spot to do that.
Move your feet, defend, and knock down open threes. That's really what he's going to be asked for this first year, maybe first 2 years.
There you go. 17th Wildcats selected in the lottery as he got into the lottery, being the 14th pick overall, 28th first-round pick in program history, and 5th draft pick under head coach Tommy Lloyd in his first 4 seasons here running the program.
That would be the tied for 7th most first-round picks of all time.
There you go.
Kentucky, Duke.
Of total schools.
Yeah, all-time first-round picks. Kentucky was 60, Duke 2nd, North Carolina 3rd, UCLA 4th, Kansas is 5th, Michigan 6th, and then Indiana and Arizona are both tied with the 28 first-round picks.
That is pretty impressive for sure. All right, we're going to let you hear a little bit later coming up from Carter Bryant. He met the media after his selection last night. Let's hear, though, right now from Spurs general manager Brian Wright on the drafting of Carter Bryant yesterday. Not the first Wildcat to be taken by the San Antonio Spurs. Arizona and San Antonio have a little bit of a history. In fact, the 5th Wildcat to be taken by the San Antonio Spurs. The 2nd, though, highest ever selected out of the University of Arizona. We'll go through that list for you as well. Let's hear from Brian Wright on the drafting of Carter Bryant.
Yeah, a little surprised. We had not at number 2, right? But we had Carter pretty high on our board, and actually tried made some moves to potentially go and get him. And so to get him at 14 was a pleasant surprise for us tonight.
What did you like about Carter? Get the possibility of moving up.
Yeah, I think he's super versatile. He's a big wing that we think can guard 4 positions. He spaces the floor well. He's a really good athlete. I think he's a smart young kid, and I think he's got the right character and makeup that we look for. So I think we're excited that he was there. And again, a little surprised, but we think he adds a new dimension to this team going forward.
It's funny watching the national message boards when that pick happened because literally every single person, the second it happened, said, well, Spurs win the draft.
There you go. And again, they've had some good drafts over the. Obviously, you get the first round pick, generational player, and Victor Wembanyama, and that's a guy definitely to build your program around. And I think this is the interesting. We'll hear from one of the legendary Spurs coming up here, Avery Johnson, who was commentating last night on CBSSports.com. Here's what he had to say about the Carter Bryant selection.
I think it's primarily with that catch and shoot ability. When you look at guys, like Branham and Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, look at the wings on this roster. A lot of these guys have underperformed in a lot of ways. So we'll see if Carter Bryant can come in and if he can find his way into this rotation, or is he going to be stuck down in the G League in Austin for the entire season. But again, I know they see huge upside. Because statistically, he's not going to blow anybody out of the water, but he's got good size, pretty good defender. But I think it's that catch and shoot ability, especially when you surround him with guys like, De'Aaron Fox, Castle, that can really, now Dylan Harper, that can break down the defense. You need guys that can make shots.
Yeah, don't forget, the first pick they had last night in that first round was Dylan Harper, the son of Ron Harper, the guard out of Rutgers. So a pair of first-round picks for them to put together with that young nucleus of players moving forward as the Spurs try to get back to the top of the Western Conference.
And gravity, right? It's a term we hear a lot. And Wemby's got about as much gravity as anybody these days because he's 7'6", and you have to deal with that because he can score from the outside. But those three names that first of all, I love Avery Johnson. He's the best. Those three names you just mentioned, Dragon Ball, you're talking about three dynamic. I mean, DK, Wemby was the first-round number 1 overall pick, generational talent 2 years ago. Last year, the Spurs drafted Stephen Castle out of Connecticut. He was the rookie of the year in the NBA last year. So we're talking about pairing those guys with Dylan Harper, obviously De'Aaron Fox, maybe the quickest-footed player in the NBA, had that toe issue right last year. Wasn't quite as quick as normal with the toe, but come on, those three guys, Stephen Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and now Dylan Harper. I mean, all you need to do as in a role as Carter Bryant is stand out in the corner and wait for the ball, because they're going to command so much extra defensive attention with their penetration ability, and you can't help off Wemby. So that projects out to be a really scary offense to have to deal with. Maybe not this year, but once they get comfortable with each other, a la the way OKC won this title, if that young core group can stick together and learn how to play with each other, man, I really, really like that roster.
It's all about staying healthy. That's going to be the biggest thing for all of them right now, is just stay healthy.
Fifth Wildcat to be taken by the San Antonio Spurs across the history of the NBA draft. Jerome Gladney, the first taken in 1977, was the 164th overall pick. That was back probably when they had about 7 rounds in the draft. That was probably about 27 teams, so that maybe would have been about round 5 or so. Sean Elliott in 1989 was the 3rd overall selection in the first round. Robertus Javtokis.
Yep.
Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
That was way before I got here. 2001 was taken in the 2nd round by the Spurs. Marcus Williams in 2007, taken in the 2nd round by the Spurs at 33rd overall. And now Carter Bryant taken in the 1st round, 14th overall. Do you have any Robertus Javtokis memories, J-Dub?
I don't think he played much. I'd have to check.
Must have played some if you got drafted, no?
Well, no. I mean, he played in 8 games, and he played 6.9 minutes per game as a freshman. This was based on his international resume that he got drafted. It was kind of one of those deals. So he wasn't really heavily in the rotation at Arizona, no.
All right. And, of course, Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr played for the Spurs and won 2 of his NBA titles.
Do you remember?
There.
Do you remember? So after the Bulls, Kerr was even older and less quick-footed than he was when he got into the NBA. And there was a moment where he wasn't really in the rotation in the playoffs when I think they won their 3rd championship in that initial Spurs run before they got Kawhi. And Steve Kerr came off the bench in the 4th and hit 4 consecutive threes to lead them. I think it was like a Game 5, Game 6 win. So Steve Kerr had a huge moment in one of those Spurs title runs as well.
Well, I mean, he became known for hitting big shots in the NBA Finals. Having done that with the Bulls was interesting. We were talking yesterday just about the whole situation. We're talking about fans and bringing up, of course, what happened with him in college here at ASU, and they replayed. They've been replaying the Last Dance all week on ESPN, and after I think it was Tuesday night show, they played it was the episode that involved Steve Kerr and kind of his rise in basketball and talking about, his life and what happened with his father and going to Arizona and then coming to the NBA and gaining Michael's trust and all of that. And, him hitting big shots and everything. I thought the funniest thing, and I maybe missed this before, was how casually that the shot, before he hit the shot against the Jazz, the one year in Game 6, like Michael's like trying to be very sly about, be ready, Steve. Be ready, Steve.
He's covering his mouth.
Exactly.
Michael's covering his mouth so nobody can read his lips.
Exactly. He might have been the first person to ever do that, because I think it might have been after that people started doing that. And Steve's like over there like, okay, I'll be ready.
He points at him. Yeah, he points at him and he's like,
if you're double teamed, I'm going to be ready.
Yeah. I don't think Steve understood what Mike was doing there now.
And Michael's probably like, oh, my God, he just gave away the whole
think of that moment. Like Michael Jordan just says to you on the bench in one of the most pivotal games of your life, I'm going to maybe look to pass you the ball here. Like, what would be going through your mind? I mean, that's Michael Jordan.
Well, he had to bail him out, as he usually does.
That was the best line ever. That was the parade line when right after they won that title, Steve steps up and he's like, once again, I had to bail Michael out.
Great stuff there. Steve Kerr, one of the Wildcat connections to San Antonio. It was great to see Andre Iguodala there last night.
Oh, yeah.
Gave Carter a hug after he got drafted. That was really, really cool as well. We saw Jack Murphy was there, obviously standing in for Tommy Lloyd, who could not be there because he's with the U19 team overseas right now. And, it was great to see. Also, Sean Elliott sending out his love.
That was the other comment I saw. I was on a lot of Spurs message boards last night, and like 50% of the comments were Sean Elliott's going to be so happy to be able to talk about one of his Arizona brethren. Marcus Williams was probably the most recent highly thought of guy to come out of Arizona who was drafted by the Spurs. That did not work out. And so Sean, I think it's about 20-plus years, right? He's been the play-by-play analyst for the Spurs broadcast. Right. So he's been, with that team through all of their title runs. And certainly a native-born Tucsonan, a lot of the Spurs fans were excited for Sean Elliott that he would be able to talk about Carter Bryant and the Arizona connection.
All right, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290 is the number. A lot in store for you. We got some Brian Jeffries is going to join us on the show today. We'll check in with Brian. He is back from Omaha. We'll get a sense of how things were there. Obviously, the Wildcats played 2 games, lost both, but what the atmosphere was like on another trip to Omaha. Final thoughts on the baseball season and wrapping up the athletics year. In fact, when you talk about wrapping up the athletics year, the final Directors Cup standings were announced today. We thought maybe that the Wildcats might be able to sneak into the top 40. Unfortunately, that did not happen. The Wildcats landed at 43rd overall in the Directors Cup. If you missed our interview earlier this week with Desiree Reed-Francois, please do head over to WildcatsRadio1290.com or download our app and check that out. Desiree saying that, hey, this is the 40s and the 50s is not where this program needs to be, that the Arizona Athletics expects to be a top 25 program nationally, and that is the goal that they are working towards accomplishing. So still some work to do because the Wildcats could not get back into that top 30 despite the run to the World Series by the baseball program and the men's track and field program with the second place finish by Zach Eckstein getting a few points as well. They got, I think, another 110 points, but it was not quite enough to get into that top 40.
Only one top 25 team from the Big 12.
Yeah.
BYU at 25.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the Wildcats were 7th overall in terms of Big 12 teams in the Directors Cup. So 7 out of 16 within the conference, not bad, but there was, again, that tells you right there were at least 9 teams lower than Arizona at 43rd. So the conference as a whole, not all that strong when it comes to sports across the board. That's something that, again, the Wildcats are going to be fighting, not being in the Pac-12. One of the positives about the Pac-12 was that that competition that you were playing at all levels of sports, whether it was women's basketball, whether it was volleyball, a lot of those, especially the when you talk about the Olympic sports, the totality of having schools like Stanford and Cal, who were very good on the Olympic sports platform, helped carry a lot of those teams into postseasons because you were competing and getting those extra strength of schedule points that you're not necessarily getting. We're already seeing soccer's made an adjustment to their schedule next year. They're going to play Stanford and Cal for the first time non-conference because we saw it happen in some of the other sports this year. You've really got to bolster that non-conference schedule now a little bit more maybe than you used to have to do in the past, because the Big 12 just across the board is not quite as strong as what we had in the
I got a little
Pac-12.
beef. The official Directors Cup site, if you go to look at the standings, it says scan this QR code with your camera app to view.
I don't think you have to do that. I mean, I was able to pull it up, but maybe you can do that as well.
NACDA.com.
Yeah.
That would be the official one, and it's very tablet and phone friendly at the moment, TK.
There you go. We'll dive more into the Directors Cup again. We'll have a show tomorrow, but we'll be off all next week. So when we come back, and of course the week we come back is also the week of the Big 12 football media day. We will not be going down to Big 12s this year, but we'll have obviously complete coverage of everything that's happening down there for you, and we'll dive more into the Directors Cup as well as we get back into it. We'll do our pull out. As I mentioned before, we'll pull out all the numbers in terms of the 21 sports that Arizona competes in and see kind of how that affects the standings. Usually it'll give Arizona a little bit of a bump, and that actually might put them into the top 40 because, again, like I said, they're behind Harvard, and Harvard is going to fall out in the pullout because they're good in sports that Arizona doesn't even compete in. So you have that right there. DK on the sports tip. Coming up, we've got FC Tucson's going to be in studio. Brian Jeffries will join us. We'll talk some Diamondbacks with Jack Summers from Diamondbacks on SI. That'll be in the 5 o'clock hour. Cricket right now getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. With collisions that are reported Tangerine and La Cañada and Tangerine, Ina and La Cañada and Ina, and a wreck at Kolb Road and Escalante. Weather-wise, we're looking at 75 is the low, 101 tomorrow and 102 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought. This AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Goodfellasac.com.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen Report.
Construction Tucson. Watch local builders transform canned goods into incredible landmarks at Park Place Mall. Every can used helps fight hunger, with all proceeds benefiting the Community Food Bank of Southern Arizona. The fun begins June 29th with Build Day. For information, go to communityfoodbank.org/construction.
And now, a no-frills ad sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You can save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned straightforward ad. See if you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
When you hear
crunch, whine,
boing,
Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch,
whine,
boing, no matter what kind of
crunch,
whine,
or boing your AC is making.
we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free. We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
whine,
boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free.
No matter how big the crunch,
boing,
or whine.
Wait, I thought I was whine.
You're crunch.
I'm crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me.
William is crunch.
Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
And taking the top spot this week at the That's What I Call Savings event, it's the return of selection at O'Reilly Chevrolet. That's right, fresh inventory is rolling in daily from Silverados to Blazers and everything in between. If Chevy makes it, we have it, and it's ready to roll. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check us out at O'Reilly.com. See us today at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. And you'll say, now that's what I call savings.
O'Reilly Chevrolet. Sponsored by Rumble. Join millions who trust Rumble's top live streaming personalities to break down the news that matters in real time. Miss the live stream? Catch the full video replay on demand with zero censorship. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose Rumble.com today.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Full show tomorrow, and then again, we will be out all of next week. We will have U.S. Women's National Team Soccer for you on Tuesday night right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. USA versus Canada. Doesn't get any better than that. A North American rivalry for sure. That'll be a 4:15 broadcast time for the match involving the U.S. Women's National Team. Hopefully they'll fare better than the men who got their butts kicked when we had them on a few weeks ago. But I believe, speaking of Switzerland, which is where Tommy Lloyd and his crew is headed to, I think that's where they got beat by Switzerland on that night a few weeks ago. And it was ugly, to say the least, for the U.S. men's national team. 520-848-1290. Let's hear from Carter Bryant. Carter Bryant, drafted yesterday in the first round of the NBA draft by the San Antonio Spurs, met the media in New York after he was selected.
Being able to guard multiple positions early on in his career, and just as you saw his progression, he became.
All right, let's start second row.
Congratulations first. Which of former Spurs players would you compare your game style to?
I think immediately the first guy I think of is Kawhi. Just his defensive versatility, being able to guard multiple positions early on in his career, and just as you saw his progression, he became one of the best players in the world, arguably a top 3 player to be playing basketball at a time where, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron were pretty much solidified to be the top 3, but he was really making a statement that he was one of the best players in the world as well.
First row in the middle.
Hi, I'm Melissa Guzologo, the Daily Wildcat. Congratulations, first of all, on being drafted. How do you see yourself fitting in with the San Antonio Spurs, and who are you most excited to play next to?
I see myself, like I said, being a guy that can bring energy, toughness, physicality, somebody that's just going to show up on a consistent basis and just work his ass off. So in terms of that, I feel like that's what I bring, and I'm looking forward to playing with my guy D Hart. I mean, it's been a long time coming. We had a lot of conversations throughout high school, whether I was trying to play together in college, just maybe playing together at some point. So for him to be my draft buddy and being able to both go in the lottery and be able to represent San Antonio is dope.
Third row on the right.
Hey, Ben Koch, NBA.com. What do you feel like you learned about the Spurs and what they're looking for you from the draft process? And then, you know, with their history of developing players and where they are, what's the forward opportunity look like for you?
I think the first thing I immediately noticed is just top to bottom, they just run different. I think that's something you notice immediately with that organization. They're very clean. They get things done very quickly. They're very precise, and they have intention behind everything they do. And I think the clear message I got behind everything is they're trying to get back to the top. So being able to win games at a very high level and being able to compete for a championship. So that's the first thing that I really got from the whole staff.
First row here on the left.
Hey, Carter, congratulations. Something you mentioned yesterday is that basketball is kind of weird, like a constant striving for perfection.
Right.
You know, joining a young team like the Spurs, you know, how do you see that kind of helping you as you guys are all kind of learning this thing together?
I think the biggest thing is there's so many guys on this team, obviously with myself and Dylan, but along with obviously Wemby and Steph Castle and D. Fox and Harrison and all these guys. There's so much room for growth for this team, and I think you're going to look up and we could definitely be one of those dynasties that you look back on and you're going to be like, man, this is a hell of a team.
First row here on the left.
I'm first of all, I'm just wondering if you know how much this makes Sean Elliott's day, having another Arizona Wildcat around.
Yeah.
And then just also, how did you and Dylan meet?
Oh, wow. Dylan and I actually met playing AU tournament. We played the New York Rens, and I'll never forget, he was killing us. And, I mean, I was the biggest dude on our team, so Coach had me guarding the 5-man. I was like, Coach, like, I promise you I can stop him. And I remember he came and walked over the bench, and he was like, I promise you, you can't stop me. So it kind of being a full circle moment for us to be on the same team now. I mean, I love that dude. He's a great dude, great family. His father's always been great to me, always provided me with great I don't even know the word I was looking for, but along with his mother, there's great people, great family.
Last row on the left.
Carter, congratulations. Adeshina Quick, a lot of sports talk. We talked yesterday about uplifting and highlighting the deaf community, knowing yourself, knowing sign language, and your mom being deaf as well, being deaf. Now that you are a professional player officially, like, how do you see your role either changing or growing in terms of highlighting the deaf community? And do you see a lot of those people in the community who are NBA fans now being Spurs fans?
No, definitely. I think I just want to bring more attention to whatever organization I was blessed to be drafted by. But obviously, San Antonio just has a rich history of having a lot of intention behind everything they do. But I don't think my mentality towards it changes in terms of the deaf community. It's something that's always going to be important to me and always has been important to me. But, I mean, I had my family, the Valencia Biscupiacs, up in the crowd, and I saw them when I was going to do my interviews, and I looked up, and they were all up there signing "I love you." So I'm more than grateful for them and just everything they've taught me.
First row here on the left.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to several players yesterday about the idea of playing next to Victor Wembanyama. You know, what is it that excites you most about, you know, playing with a guy with his skill set, his size, his range?
I mean, I'm gonna just start off defensively because that's what I love to do. I mean, I feel like I can just be ultra aggressive. Obviously, you got to be smart, but just having the mental stability of knowing you kind of have a monster back there behind you that's going to deter everything from the front of the rim, it gives me the opportunity to just be an elite defender and kind of push my limits, especially on the ball. So I think with that being the case, I'm just ready to be active and be able to contribute defensively immediately and offensively. He's a guy that's, I like to use the word gravity. Takes all the gravity in the room. So him being that type of player, I mean, it's going to open up so many opportunities for myself, Dylan, and so many guys on this roster for us to grow. I'm just looking forward to picking his brain.
Second row.
How much run are you going to give Dylan in the race for Rookie of the Year?
I mean, one of us going to get it. So whether it's one or two or whoever gets it, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to win basketball games at a high level.
Second row on the right.
Carter, not the most important thing in the entire world, but You did rock number 9 in college.
Yes, sir.
You can't rock 9 on the Spurs. It's retired by, obviously, the legend Tony Parker.
Yes, sir.
What number are you going to rock?
I don't know. I got to look at who has what numbers on the team. I don't know. That's a great question.
Is there like a number that stands out in your mind, like that might be meaningful to you?
I know Steph got 5. That's my dog. I'm not getting that off him. I don't know. Does D Fox wear 4? Yep, I can't get 4. And then I had the 4 plus 5 for 9. Wemby got the 1. Dylan for sure gonna have 2. If nobody has 2, I'm gonna have to figure something out.
Figure that out. All good.
All right. Thank you, Carter.
Thank you.
Bryant,
Something new.
Yesterday for his press conference, and he's got to make a decision there on what number he's going to wear for the first season in the NBA, because, like the man said, Tony Parker, the legend, wore number 9 there, the great point guard for many years for the Spurs, and that number is retired. So
they got a ton.
Yeah, they got, yeah.
Mm-hmm. 00, 6, 9, 12, 13, 20, 21, 32, 44, and 50 are all retired.
All retired.
Yeah, that would be Avery Johnson, Tony Parker, Bruce Bowen, Ginobili, Duncan, Elliott, George Gervin. I mean, come on. And David Robinson wore 50.
Iceman.
So, yeah, Iceman number 44.
Yeah, some good stuff there.
Yeah, whatever it is, he's probably going to have to look to maybe getting some kind of double-digit number, because he's probably not going to get anything in the single digits.
Well, it's funny because they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if, well, he could be you said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He could be a 5, maybe.
They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Avery Johnson is 6, so nobody can have that one.
Yeah, Steph Castle's already got 5, so like I said, he's probably going to have to look somewhere
true,
in the double digits.
And Kawhi was 4, and that's why the contention of why wouldn't you retire Kawhi Leonard's number? Well, he didn't exactly leave San Antonio under the best circumstances.
He compared himself, I think, a little bit to Kawhi Leonard.
Well, I think what he meant was less play style and more two-way forced, being able to guard 1 through 4, being able to be an effective offensive player. I think that's what he's shooting for.
Yeah, if you can go ahead and get just efficiency from the mid-range game, have a little bit of an outside shot, but then mostly focus all of your effort on shutting down the best perimeter player that the other team's got, that's the Kawhi Leonard mold. That's what Carter Bryant is going to look to try and emphasize when he gets to the NBA.
In terms of what he was saying there about, having the protection of a Victor Wembanyama behind him being able to play more aggressively out on the perimeter in terms of his defense.
Listen, Victor Wembanyama led the NBA in blocks last year. He played in 46 games. Yeah. 46 games. He led in overall blocks, of course. Yeah, Victor Wembanyama is a force of nature. He can block shots from 15 feet away. So having a guy like that who comes over, anybody in the history of the NBA who's an effective off-ball coming off their man to block shots, if as a defender, it gives you so much more confidence, because if you do make a mistake, if you do go for a little hip fake or whatever, you've got somebody behind you who can erase that mistake easily.
Yeah, you don't think there's a reason John Stockton has the most steals in NBA history when he had a guy like Mark Eaton for the early part of his career blocking shot? John knew, I can take some chances here with the guy dribbling, because I know if I miss, the guy behind me is going to block that shot.
Good stuff there. Good stuff there. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. All right, coming up, we've got we're going to talk some FC Tucson for sure. We've got the FC Tucson men went on the road this past weekend. Unfortunately took a loss, but also got a draw. They lost 2-0 on Saturday, 2-0 on Saturday to Redlands FC, and they had another game on Monday against City Soccer Club of San Diego, in which they drew. So the boys in black are now 5-2-1 on the season. Meanwhile, the ladies had 2 games as well this past weekend. They went on the road to the Phoenix Heat, won big, 8-1, and then came home. We had a chance to see them Saturday night in their match against Desert Dreams FC, which they won by a score of 2-1. So the ladies are now 4-1-1 on the season. Both FC Tucson squads playing extremely well. And we're going to talk some FC Tucson straight ahead. DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. 12th Avenue and Valencia. Stalled vehicle, Valencia and 12th Avenue. Collisions reported to the northwest side, Tangerine and La Cañada. Also in Ina and La Cañada, and to the southeast side, Kolb Road and Escalante. 75 the overnight low, 101 tomorrow, 102 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah. It's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
She's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
There are many reasons you might need Dorado Rockin' Materials. A few bare spots in the yard. The driveway needs filling in. Or it could be that the yard needs a whole makeover. Whatever the reason, if your yard has the summertime blues, Dorado Rockin' Materials has everything from sand to boulders and every rock and pebble in between. If you need help spreading it, we have options for that too. Call 400-4233. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live? When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Sponsored by Rumble. From spicy podcasts to wild live streams, there's always something new on Rumble. Watch, comment, and connect with a real community that's actually awake. Comment in the live chat and talk directly to your favorite streamers. Rumble provides you with your daily dose of uncensored fun, facts, and fire. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose Rumble.com today.
The United States Soccer Federation presents the U.S. Soccer Podcast.
The United States have the lead.
The United States in full command.
And didn't she enjoy that one?
Never miss a game.
Look at the pace she puts on this ball with that little slip run. Great first touch.
Never miss a moment.
Get a hold of it.
The back of the net.
Great goal for the United States.
Goal for goal. Yeah!
The U.S. Soccer Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's DK on the Sports Tip. Did you hear what we were talking about?
Sonny, you're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
First of all, I want to congratulate you on your show. I'm really glad and appreciate the show that you guys put together, bringing what I think is sort of quality local radio.
This is a great radio station. You guys go high school and everything, and this is a great radio station, sports-wise.
Well, we appreciate you saying that, Victor. Thank you so much. DK on the Sports Tip, Monday through Fridays at 3, right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
When you hear
crunch,
whine, boing,
Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch,
whine, boing. No matter what kind of
crunch,
whine, or boing your AC is making,
we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free. We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
whine, boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free. No matter how big the crunch,
boing,
or whine. Wait, I thought I was whine. You're crunch.
I'm crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me. William is crunch. Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
The Starbucks Summer Berry Refresher is officially back. Bold notes of raspberry, blueberry, and blackberry shaken with ice and poured over raspberry-flavored pearls. Try it with lemonade or coconut milk. Available for a limited time. Your Summer Berry Refresher is ready at Starbucks.
This is Andrew Bogish with a Sports Minute sponsored by WeatherGuard Truck and Van Equipment. They're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. I hope vintage Jacob deGrom is here to stay. The Rangers righty perfect through 6 last night in Baltimore didn't allow a hit until the 8th. deGrom now has 8 wins and a 2.08 ERA, and most importantly, he's made 16 starts, already more than the previous 2 years combined. I'm Andrew Bogish.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their tools, but to protect their professional reputations. Whether it's inside or outside of work vehicles, a WeatherGuard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Since 1968 and every day since, WeatherGuard has been protecting anything it takes to build a professional reputation. WeatherGuard, established in 1968, proven every day. WeatherGuard.com.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hernandez playing two-man game, gives it away. Here's Miranda. 2-on-1. She'll hit from the outside. Well struck. What a goal! Whistle blows. Kick taken. And saved! What a save by Biederman Auberg. Read up the entire way. I imagine FC Tucson might have one opportunity to attack. They're going to take it. Zoe Gist with some time and space on the outside. We'll see what she does. She has some runners. Cuts it back. Let's see if she hits a shot. She does. Well struck, and what a goal! Injury time goal for Zoe Gist. And it is 2-0 FC Tucson.
It's our guy Eric Rhodes on the call this past weekend. FC Tucson women got a big win over Desert Dreams FC over at Keynote North Stadium. We've had a number of the players on both the men's and women's teams in studio with us this season, but we've never had one from each team in studio with us. It was either the guys or the girls. Now we've got one guy and one girl in studio with us. That's pretty cool. Pleased to be joined by none other than we've got Vivian Villarreal, who is here. Vivian is on the FC Tucson women's team, and we've got Mateo Soto, an FC Tucson defender. So we've got offense and we've got defense as well here today. Appreciate the two of you joining us. Since we started with those women's highlights, I'll start with you, Vivian. How did you feel about the way you guys were able to go out? Because you guys had to play back to back, which is never easy this time of year because of the fact of you've got weather and all of those kind of things. But you guys had the back to back. You went out. You got the win on the road Friday night pretty easily, 8-1, and then Desert Dreams FC was undefeated coming in here on Saturday night. But how did you guys feel about the way that particular match went down?
I think we're all pretty mentally focused on that Saturday game, and you can tell the energy, and with our fans and with everyone, our chemistry really shined bright throughout that whole game, and that really brought us up to that win. How
about Zoe Gist and she kind of made it. I called it it was almost like a basketball crossover that she made to get that goal on Saturday. That was a pretty impressive move she put on that young lady, not to mention the PK save that you guys got there late in the first half by goalkeeper Tindra Beardman-Abar.
Yeah, Zoe is just such a techie and shifty player. She's so fast on the ball, and she just has such a strike every time she hits the ball. So that energy plus Tindra's save, it was amazing.
Tell us a bit about your background. How old were you the first time you started playing soccer?
I started playing soccer when I was about 4 years old, and it was something that I've always loved doing. I've been with FC Tucson since my freshman year in high school, and I love it here.
Now, what high school are you at?
I'm at Walden Grove High School.
Walden Grove High School. Okay, you're at Walden Grove, and we've got Mateo here. He's a Tucson Badger and Pima Aztec as well. And, we always love to have the guys from the Aztecs program in here as well as the ladies. Two very, very strong programs here locally. But for you, Mateo, how old were you when you first started playing soccer?
Yeah, I was around about the same age, 3 or 4. But yeah, it was. It's always been something I've really been passionate about. I've loved the sport since I've started playing. Never stopped.
Who put you in it? Was it your dad, your mom? You have brothers, big brothers that play? I know a lot of guys that I talked to had big brothers that played the sport.
Yeah, no, I'm actually the oldest brother.
Oh, you're the oldest one.
Yeah.
So they follow after you.
Pretty much, yeah. It was my dad, really. He had never really played the sport before,
really?
But he had always watched it and been like a big fan of it. And I was a kid with a lot of energy. I needed to get it out somehow. So he put me in soccer when I was young.
So when did you first kind of feel like, all right, this is a sport, I might be able to be pretty good at this?
Honestly, I would say maybe around middle school. In middle school, I went to Dodge Middle School, and we won the city championship. And that was like, after that, I was just like, I need to win. I need to keep playing,
That is awesome. Vivian Villarreal is joining us, as well as Mateo Soto from the FC Tucson program. Now, both of you came up in the academy?
Yes.
Okay, so what's that like, being a part of the FC Tucson Academy as a youngster?
Well, for me, I always thought it was like a very professional environment, and I feel like it prepared me well for like the college game, and the level and intensity was always super high, so it was definitely something to adjust to.
How about you, Vivian?
Yeah, I agree. Just the environment and how well the other girls are as well, and it just gets you ready for college. I've had a lot of other teammates that it really prepared them. Same with the coaching staff. It's very well.
Now, Vivian, you you're still in high school though, right?
Yes.
You were a junior this past year?
Yeah.
So you'll be a senior this coming year?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you, and you're at Walden Grove, and a pretty solid program down there, but you had to, I think it was 2 years ago, you had a little bit of an injury you had to deal with. What was it like to try to get through and come back from that?
Yeah, it's a lot of, like, mentally, you really want to, like, push through and play through that, but you have to be smart, and that's what I had to kind of do, just be patient and take my time off so I can be, like, better when I come back.
And you guys have kind of been steadily building that program down there at Walden Grove. What's it been like to be a part of that as the Red Wolves program has started to get better and better and better to the point where you guys are now in the conversation where you can compete with schools like South Point Catholic?
It's a good environment, again, to be a part of. Yeah, 2024, we won our state championship, and obviously it's a big thing to come back from the next season as like girls leave and new girls come in, and it's just the consistency with our program, and like we have practices are all intense, our coach is amazing, but it's just the community surrounding it. I think it's building more and more, and that gets girls to want to come to Walden and then continue to be able to compete with other big schools.
Tell me about that moment when you won the state championship and what that felt like for you guys, because if I'm not mistaken, you had a goal in the state championship game.
Yes. It obviously is like no other feeling. It's just something that you were working for. Like the season prior, we lost in the state championship, so it was a big moment when we came back and had an undefeated season after that, and it was a really good way to end it, especially with a lot of my teammates that were seniors that year, and a lot of girls that I could like. It's just a memory that you're not ever gonna forget. Yeah.
And of course, Mateo, you're over at Tucson High School, which has been a powerful program in the city for a number of years. What's it been like to be a part of that history of Badger soccer?
Yeah, it was great, and I feel like our group was just so talented, and we had a very well-organized coach at the time. We were pretty successful. I always look back and I think I wish we could have won a state championship because I feel like the talent was definitely there. We just came a little bit unlucky in those few years.
And then you go into the program at Pima, which is just ultra successful. How did you take that step from high school to junior college now to continue to be successful out there on the pitch?
Well, at Pima, we had a lot of Tucson local guys, so we had a few guys from Tucson High as well. So I feel like the team chemistry and all of that, it just clicked together so easily. And, Pima, Cosgrove is a great coach, and he's always had a winning team, and we were just able to follow in those footsteps pretty much.
What's the best you've played for him for 2 seasons, last year, the year before? What's the best piece of advice he's given you or coached you up on during your time there?
Well, he's helped me improve my game a lot, but I think the mentality, he showed me what it means to, really work hard, The way we train at Pima is completely different than anything else, honestly. The intensity is just always so high.
And coached you up enough that you're headed to the next level in the fall, Cal State Dominguez Hills. What was your recruiting process like, and how did you land on that school in Southern California?
Well, honestly, I always wanted to stay home close to Tucson, and I had reached out to a few different schools and talked to a few different schools before I had officially committed. And Dominguez Hills, when I took the visit out there, it just seemed like a really good fit for me, like it would be a great home. Everything about it, just the area. I've always been a fan of California and LA in general, so that was the good spot for me.
What are you most looking forward to about going to Los Angeles?
Well, the team is great.
Other than playing soccer.
Other than playing soccer.
The beach?
The beach. I love the beach, honestly. Definitely the beach. Maybe the nicer weather.
You like the beach, Vivian? Are you a beach person?
Yeah, I am.
There you go. So now you're in your senior year. So what's recruiting look like for you?
I am verbally committed to Seattle University.
Oh, wow. So we got one in Los Angeles and one going up to Seattle. What was attractive about going up there and being a part of that program?
Just when I visited the team, just had a family kind of connection, and the coach, she was amazing and gave me an experience that I'm really excited to be a part of.
You got your winter coat, or your raincoat, I should say, ready?
Oh, yeah.
To go up there?
Yeah.
You like fish? What's your favorite kind of fish?
Salmon.
Salmon. All right. How does Vivian cook her salmon on the grill?
My dad cooks it.
Oh, he cooks it? Okay. How does he cook it for Vivian?
I don't know, but it's good.
But it's good. There you go. All right, we're going to keep Vivian and Mateo a little bit longer, continue to talk a little soccer with them as well. We'll get you up to date on what's coming up, as the both teams will be home the weekend of 4th of July with matches and, of course, fireworks and all of that good stuff as well. The men are home this weekend as we kind of get down to the end of the women's schedule. So we'll give you all that information as well. If you want to get in, 520-848-1290. If you know either one of these two fabulous youngsters and you want to talk to them on the radio, give us a call, 520-848-1290. I told them they didn't have to put on the headsets, but if we get a call, then they will, so that they can hear you ask them a question. All right, we are going to hand it over to Dragon Ball, who's got everything happening in sports here in Southern Arizona and around the world.
Well, again, the main thing, the Arizona Wildcats have another name to the long list of first-round picks in the NBA. Carter Bryant was brought in with the 14th overall pick to the San Antonio Spurs. He'll play alongside Victor Wembanyama and the rest of the young core. And Bryant isn't the only young and up-and-coming star on this squad. He joins former rival from his youth, Dylan Harper, which Bryant hinted that he's actually kind of excited about now that he's going to be playing alongside Harper in the pros.
Actually met playing AU tournament. We played the New York Rens, and I'll never forget, he was killing us. And I was the biggest dude on our team, so coach had me guarding the 5 man. I was like, Coach, I promise you I can stop him. And I remember he came and walked over the bench, and he was like, I promise you can't stop me. So it kind of being a full circuit moment for us to be on the same team now. I love that dude. He's a great dude, great family. His father's always been great to me, always provided me with great I don't even know the word I was looking for, but along with his mother, there's a great people, great family.
Again, best of luck to Carter as he starts his professional career. Hoping to hear the name also of Caleb Love called today as the second round starts up at 5 o'clock Arizona time. The Suns, meanwhile, made their selection for the draft through the Rockets as a part of the Kevin Durant trade, collecting Duke's Kana Malawak with the 10th overall pick, while later traded 29th overall to the Hornets for center Mark Williams. Williams is the second center the Suns have traded for in the year of 2025, also bringing in Nick Richards at the deadline just this past January. And looking elsewhere in the draft, the obvious number one selection went to Cooper Flagg. He joins up as a Maverick. The Rutgers star Dylan Harper joins up with Carter Bryant in San Antonio, as you just heard. VJ Edgecombe lands with the 76ers. And Flagg's Duke wingmate Con Kneppel is selected by the Hornets. Now the Jazz made a surprise move. Ace Bailey going to the Jazz at 5, despite the Rutgers talent deciding to not work out with the team, with Bailey saying afterwards that he had no idea Utah wanted him at the 5th spot. And I'm Dragon Ball with your 2020 Sports Update here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the Auto Nation, Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collision I-10 near Ina occurred on the westbound side of I-10 near Ina. Some slowing on westbound I-10 approaching Ina. Also collision in the foothills at River and Hacienda del Sol. The 75, the overnight low 101 tomorrow, 102 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Amazon Prime Day.
Okay, I've got some good news and I've got some great news. The good news is that Prime Day is almost here. The great news? This year you'll have 4 days to find deals on all of your favorite things. Shop Prime Day, July 8th through the 11th.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcasts. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Ever wish you could get advice from your future self?
Psst. Hey, you, present self.
Huh? Who said that?
It's me. I mean you, from 40 years in the future.
Future me? Wow.
Look, there's no time. The most important thing you need to do right now is go to Tobacco Barn.
Tobacco Barn? Why?
We could have saved a fortune.
What are you talking about?
At Tobacco Barn, you save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products. 40%! Do you know how much that adds up to over 40 years?
40%? Wow, that's a lot.
And get this, you pay no city or state sales tax. It's basically free money. Plus, there's a $3 coupon available at TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
A $3 coupon? No sales tax, 40% off. Why didn't you tell me sooner, future self?
By the way, when you meet a girl named Charlene, don't ask her to marry you.
I already did.
Oh, crud.
Don't wait for your future self to tell you. Save today at Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway, 1 mile south of Valencia. Check TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Sponsored by Rumble. Want to join 59 million others who are tuning in to a fresh alternative to mainstream news and information that isn't delivered with an agenda? Enjoy your daily dose of happenings from a platform that fights to protect your free speech. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play Store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose Rumble.com today.
The savings are hot now during the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event at Royal Kia. Get 0% APR financing. That's right, 0% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2025 Kia Niro EV. Or get 1.9% APR for 60 months on select new 2025 Kia models, including the Kia Sorento, Sorento Hybrid, Sportage, Niro, and EV6. So many Kias to choose from, all with low APR financing. See dealer for details. $13.89 per month per 1,000 financed at 0% for 72 months. $17.48 per month per 1,000 financed at 1.9% for 60 months. Some restrictions apply. Must finance with Kia Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. OAC plus tax, title, $589 dealer dock fee, and dealer install accessories. K31547, K31922. Offers end 7/7/25. The savings are hot now at Royal Kia. Speedway in Columbus or RoyalKia.com.
When you hear
crunch,
whine, boing,
Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch.
Whine. Boing. No matter what kind of
Crunch.
whine or boing your AC is making.
We fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free. We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch.
Whine. Boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free. No matter how big the crunch,
Boing.
or whine. Wait, I thought I was whine. You're crunch.
I'm Crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me. William is crunch. Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We talk Diamondbacks baseball daily.
Overall, inside of our culture, it's built on love, trust, commitment, and effort. And I think love is the glue to all of it.
Love, trust, commitment, and effort. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Thursday show. We've got guests in studio with us on this Thursday. I have got Vivian Villarreal from the FC Tucson Women and Mateo Soto from the FC Tucson Men here. And I said before at the end of the last segment, if you wanted to call up and speak with either of these two or both of them, to do so, our number is 520-848-1290. And in fact, somebody has taken us up on that offer. Let's hear from Daniel. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, it's good to be on. This is my first time on radio.
All right. Well, welcome, Daniel.
All right. I have a question for Vivian there. Hi, Vivian.
Hi.
All right. My first question is, who is your biggest influence as an athlete?
Ooh, who's your biggest influence as an athlete, Vivian?
My biggest influence is Kobe Bryant, for sure.
Kobe Bryant. Why Kobe Bryant?
He was my mom's favorite athlete,
Oh,
and that's
okay.
just like what I've been growing up on.
Shout out, Mom.
Yes.
All right. And how would you say they influence your mindset and style of play?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. How would you say Kobe Bryant influences your mindset and style of play?
Oh, yeah. I think he influenced it just by being disciplined and having that mentality of you're going to work harder than anyone else and just being consistent and relying on your work ethic.
There you go, Mamba mentality, right?
Yes.
That's how you come back from an injury during the state tournament to lead the team to the state title game, right? And to the championship. Does that voice sound familiar? Do you know this person, Vivian? Do you know this person, Vivian? Is the voice familiar to you?
The voice is familiar.
Yeah? Who is that?
I can't tell.
You can't you can't tell, or you don't want to tell? Do you know?
I have another question.
Okay.
Over your, what's your favorite dog breed, Viv?
Oh, your favorite dog breeds. Did you have a dog, Vivian?
Yes. Dachshund.
Dachshund. Okay, why do you like Dachshund?
I've just grown up around dachshunds.
How many? You have one? How many dogs do you have?
I have 3. But
You have 3 dogs, and they're all dachshunds.
Yeah. But
Wow.
I've had like 5 dachshunds.
Wait, you've had 5?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. What happened? How did that become your favorite dog that you would have that many of them?
It was my grandma. She started it. She
Oh.
used to have dachshunds. and
Okay.
So now we've only had dachshunds.
Outstanding. And what are your 3 dogs currently? What are their names?
The oldest is Lucius, and in the middle, her name's V.
V. Okay.
And we just got a puppy.
All right.
Like 2 weeks ago, and his name's Rocco.
Rocky.
sorry.
Rocky. Okay, so Lucius, V, and Rocky. Do they all get along?
Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah?
I'm really trying to figure out who this is.
How do you know Vivian, Daniel?
You know what? I'm her older brother.
Oh!
My name's
You didn't recognize your older brother?
I was so confused. I was like, Daniel? Oh my gosh, you're such a troll.
That's awesome, Daniel. You're just like your sister. She can't even remember what you sound like.
No, his name is David.
His name is David?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he gave us a false name. All right,
Yes.
there you go. Hey, David, anything else for Vivian?
No, that'll be it. I'll see you later, Viv.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
I'm sorry about the Yeezys, David.
Wait, what did you apologize to him about?
I didn't help him
they-
sell shoes today.
Oh, wait. You did what to his shoes?
He asked me to help him sell shoes, and I was not there for him.
Oh, okay. There you go. So he's a shoe salesman?
I don't even know.
Okay. You don't know his name, so you don't know who he is. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. 520-848-1290. If you want to ask Vivian or Mateo any more questions, you can jump on and do so. They're here for the FC Tucson Soccer Club. So we've got games coming up. Let's go first with the men. You guys, first let's talk about what happened last weekend. Tough weekend. You guys went on the road. It's never easy to go over to California and win games, a loss and a draw. But Mateo, just how'd you guys feel about the two matches over the weekend?
Yeah, it was definitely tough. The results didn't end up going our way. But in this sport, in this league especially, I think you just have to have a short memory and bounce back really quick. But yeah, it is tough to go on the road, be in a van for about 8 hours, and then hop out and play. But yeah, we're looking to bounce back this weekend for sure.
Okay, so you don't play the team I'm about to ask you about anymore, so you can't really give them any bulletin board material. But is Coachella really that bad? You've beaten it. For those of you who aren't aware, FC Tucson has beaten Coachella FC twice this year by a combined score of 35-0, 19-0 at home, 16-0 on the road. I would think everybody would want to go play soccer in Coachella. It's such a great place to be, right? But apparently, their soccer is not very good.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten some tough results across the whole league, and our team we have a ton of players who have great attacking talent. So when you go up against them, it's going to be hard to defend for 90 minutes.
Have you ever been in a game, Vivian, where you won 19-0?
Maybe in like youth
soccer. I think
there's like a mercy rule though.
Oh wow! I think their goal differential is like -103. They've been outscored 111-8 so far this season as Coachella. Not good. So unfortunately, we don't play them anymore this year. Our goal differential is going to be fabulous. You play them enough times, but then everybody plays them. All right, so City SC again this weekend at home. That'll be for the men on Saturday night. You guys played them earlier this year on the road and lost there. So what do you remember about that particular match, Mateo?
Yeah, it was a tough match for sure, but a lot of it was self-inflicted wounds. We made a few mistakes, but it was a good back-and-forth match. Unfortunately, that's how the game is sometimes. You make a mistake, and it'll cost you, especially in this league. But, yeah, I think we can definitely bounce back this weekend and get a good result.
And last year, you were on the team that went to the Western Conference Finals, the Western Conference Championship. What was that like? Because this was a program that had kind of gotten to that point and hadn't been able to get over and get that win to get the Western Conference Championship. But what was that like to finally be the team that was able to bring that home?
Yeah, it was great. It was great representing Tucson, especially at that high of a level at Nationals. And, yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get the result we wanted in the semifinal, but it was a great honor to make it that far in general. So.
All right, both teams will be playing 4th of July weekend. The men will be playing on Thursday, July the 3rd at home against Keno North Stadium against Ventura County. That's always a very, very good match. They perennially are one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. The ladies, 2 more games to go. Vivian, you all are on the road. SC Del Sol, that's generally the top team. You guys, they put a whooping on you guys a few weeks ago here at home. So what happened that night, and how are we going to be better this Friday night up in Phoenix against SC Del Sol?
Obviously, that was a really tough match. They have a bunch of talented girls, but at the same time, we were kind of missing our main squad, so we had a lot of our younger girls, but they still did well and they did fine. But we're gonna have those missing pieces that we were missing that game, but we should definitely do better. And if we play like we did for the Desert FC Dreams, or I don't know their name, but if we play like we did last game, then I think we'll be doing fine this game.
There you go. And then you guys will finish out the season, the regular season anyway, with a home match on the 5th of July. So both teams will play around the 4th of July, Saturday night next week at Keno North Stadium against Arizona Arsenal. That'll be the final regular season game for the ladies. Vivian, I want to ask you, have you ever had to, because obviously you're of smaller stature. How tall are you? 5'2"?
Yeah, 5'3" on paper.
5'3" on paper. Have you had to? Has that been difficult for you to overcome your smaller stature to be a successful player out there on the pitch?
Honestly, you have to try to use it as your the best of your ability. Obviously, going against a girl on for a header or in the air, that's not my forte. It's more on the ground and being fast off the ball, trying not to go body, just being off the moving off the ball and creating space for myself, and just finding those opportunities that I can succeed in that don't have to that I don't have to be bigger in. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for you, we mentioned obviously you went to Walden Grove. You go to Walden Grove High School. You won the title as a sophomore. You're going to be going into your senior year this winter. How do you lead? Talk to me about Vivian, the leader out there, when you get with your high school team.
I think being a leader is just kind of putting everyone together collectively and not leaving anyone out. Just being a consistent role model, being on time, being the last one to leave, just being a role model for the younger girls, and just continue to motivate them, and just doing my work on the field and off the field. I think that's a big part of being a leader.
All right, soccer favorites. Mateo, favorite player that you love to watch?
Growing up, I was always a big Neymar fan. That's always been my favorite player. Even though I'm a defender, Neymar was something to watch.
Why did you love Neymar?
Just his play style. He's so crafty on the ball and everything. I think he was the most entertaining player I've ever seen.
Is there a defensive player that you model your game after, being a defender?
My favorite defensive player is Antonio Rudiger.
Okay.
I just think the physicality he plays with is definitely something to admire and take into my own game.
Okay, so then when you have a chance, when does, 'cause obviously defenders don't get a chance to score a lot of goals, but I believe you had 3 this past season at Pima. What generally happens when you have an opportunity to score? How does that usually get set up for you to be able to potentially score a goal?
Well, honestly, I score the most goals off of set pieces.
Okay.
So corners, I feel like I'm pretty decent in the air. So this past year, we had a few set plays at Pima, and I ended up getting on the end of a few of them. So I can put the ball in the net sometimes.
So now when we hear the term set piece, that's obviously kicks off, corner kicks, free kicks, that kind of thing. Okay, so if it's a corner kick, do you know is there a specific set where he's kicking the ball to you, or is he kicking the ball to a spot and then you're more gravitating potentially to that spot?
I would say more of a spot, but we would have a few plays where we would run off of each other in the box.
Okay.
And more often than not, one of us would be open, and it would land on you. You got to put it in the back of the net.
All right, so how many of those 3 goals were headers, and how many of them came off your foot?
I believe they were all headers, actually.
Wow, okay. Have you ever now, Vivian, you just said that that's not your thing. So, but have you ever scored off of a header?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that like for you?
I think I score a lot of headers.
Oh, you do?
For corner kicks, but more of the high school level. I mean, yeah.
Okay, who's your favorite soccer player?
I kind of like more offensive players. I'm always a big Messi fan, but I like Pogba, Ronaldinho. I used to watch a lot, and Alex Morgan, Trinity Rodman, those girls.
All right. What are you going to study in school?
I'm kind of like on the fence. I really want to do kinesiology.
Okay.
But if not,
You don't want to be a vet? You got all those dogs at home.
Oh, no, thank you.
You have a dog, Mateo?
I do, actually. I have 2 dogs.
Not dachshund, though.
Not dachshunds.
Okay.
One of them is a bit of a mutt. I do not know what breed she is. And then the other one's a boxer, pit bull type of mix.
Okay. And what are you going to study at Cal State Dominguez Hills?
Business.
Business. All right. Well, we appreciate both of you coming in, and we've enjoyed watching you guys play all summer long. Best of luck, obviously, senior year coming up, senior season for Vivian down in Sahuarita at Walden Grove High School. And so you'll be a junior then at Cal State Dominguez Hill, junior year, first year on the Division I level for Mateo Soto at Cal State Dominguez Hills. Best of luck the rest of the summer, guys. Stay safe out there, injury-free, and we look forward to watching you guys again in the fall.
Thank you for having us.
Mateo Soto and Vivian Villarreal from FC Tucson. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Brian Jeffries coming up next.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. With collisions reported River Road and Hacienda del Sol, and River Road. Crash I-10 near Ina on the westbound side of I-10 near Ina, and there are some slowdowns. 75 the overnight low, 101 tomorrow, and a 102 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Amazon Prime Day.
Okay, I've got some good news and I've got some great news. The good news is that Prime Day is almost here. The great news? This year you'll have 4 days to find deals on all of your favorite things. Shop Prime Day, July 8th through the 11th.
Back to Eugene Snarkle, rising UberTube star, and his best friend, Doug.
Eugene, you've been working on my car's brakes for 3 days now. Is there a problem? And what's with all the orange stuff on your t-shirt?
Research, Doug.
The orange stuff is research?
No, I'm doing research for my next UberTube video on fixing brakes. I need the Chizo snack food to power my 72-hour video binges. It gets a little messy, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice.
It looks like the only sacrifice is my car, and maybe that white t-shirt covered in Chizo dust.
So, can you hand me that metal thingy?
You mean this wrench?
Well, if that's what you want to call it.
Eugene, I need my keys. I'm heading to Jack Furrier's.
Great choice, Doug. You know, brake repair doesn't have to be expensive to be good. At Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, we've been providing award-winning service since 1960, including top-quality brake repairs at the best prices in town. Call, stop by, or go online to make an appointment. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, here to get you there.
And climbing to #1 at the That's What I Call Saving Sales event, it's peace of mind on 4 wheels. O'Reilly Chevrolet certified pre-owned vehicles go through a 172-point inspection and come with warranty protection that keeps you covered and confident at a price that makes sense. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check us out at O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. And you'll say, now that's what I call savings.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Average doesn't grow your business. Smart strategy does. At Cumulus Digital, our campaigns outperform industry benchmarks by more than 25% because we go beyond clicks and impressions, showing you exactly who saw your ad by name and address. We build solutions that fit more than 4,000 businesses that partner with us every month. Let's build one for you. You're not average, and your marketing results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com today.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
We are getting the word out. Right Way is the best choice for plumbing. Not just for maintenance and installation, but for sewer and drain service as well. Whether it's leaking, no hot water, slow drains, clogged toilets, or tree roots in the sewer line, we do it the right way. We also offer Trent's sewer repairs to save customers time and money.
For a limited time, you can save 10% off any repairs or product installation. Call or text 520-276-2775 to book your free estimate or visit rightwayac.com today. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
Sponsored by Rumble. Join millions who trust Rumble's top live streaming personalities to break down the news that matters in real time. Miss the live stream? Catch the full video replay on demand with zero censorship. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
We bring you all the news and stories of your Arizona Wildcats. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wildcats Radio 1290 for the latest highlights and commentary. Your home for U of A athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Taylor Bishotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Aaron Rodgers has announced that his upcoming 21st NFL season will likely be his last after signing a one-year deal with the Steelers. Rodgers told the Pat McAfee Show that a big draw to Pittsburgh was a chance to team up with wide receiver DK Metcalf, calling him not just a specimen, but a really solid human being. Meantime, 49ers tight end George Kittle says he'll keep playing as long as he's having fun. Kittle telling the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, he'll quote, "I think if I get to 35 and it hurts to put pants on in the morning, I'll be like, this isn't that much fun anymore, and I'll have a conversation with myself." Kittle, who's now 31, recently signed a 4-year, $76.4 million extension. And cornerback Shaquille Griffin is signing a 1-year, $3 million deal worth up to $4 million, according to NFL Network insider Mike Garafolo. Griffin was a third-round pick by Seattle back in 2017. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Let's chat with the voice of the Arizona Wildcats, Brian Jeffries, who has come to the end of his 37th season. I always get the numbers mixed up, but I think it's 37 seasons. So just 3 more to go for Brian to get to 40 years as the voice of the Wildcats. Brian, do you get nostalgic at this time of the year when another athletics year comes to an end?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look back and you think of all the great memories that you've been able to collect over the last 9 months. And, you know, no matter what the team record might be for whatever sport I'm covering, I mean, it's always special. There's always great memories. And so, yeah, you carry with those, your entire life. And so this was just another example of that. Some great memories over the last 9 months. And now you recharge and get ready for a new one.
What was most fun about just this recent run by baseball that, again, you've been with this team and we talked about kind of it seemed like they were going nowhere after that first game at Houston, and then things the lights kind of went on and they were able to get on that 8-game run that took them all the way to North Carolina. and surviving, getting beat by 16 runs in game one there to get to the World Series and get back to Omaha. What did you enjoy most about that 4-week stretch?
Well, I think what I most enjoyed about this entire season was the team itself and the players. I mean, this was just a great group of young men. I mean, they played hard every game. They really believed in one another. You know, a couple of things came up there late in the season, a couple of words that they started using a lot. And I think after that loss at Houston in the first game of that series, the guys kind of got together at the hotel and said, hey, we got to start having fun again, that maybe, you know, they'd gone through some tough times and maybe they lost the fact that baseball is a game. You need to have fun. And they did. They came out the next day. You could see it just in their body language. They won that game. They won their 8-game winning streak, and that propelled them on, to get into the top 4 there in Arlington, and then on to the regional in Eugene, and et cetera. So it's that. I think the other word that the players used a lot was trust. They really trusted in one another, and I think that was another major part of their success, was that ability to, everybody doesn't have a hit every time they go up. Every pitcher doesn't make a perfect pitch, but they trusted in one another, and I think that's a great team concept. So that's what I'll remember about this season, was just the guys, the way that they handled themselves, the way they did trust and believed in one another. And, they got to Omaha, and that's an exceedingly difficult journey to get there. And it doesn't matter, if you win the national championship, only one team wins it all. Everybody else leaves disappointed. And so it was a great honor to be there. And, Arizona's got such a great national brand, all their sports, but, baseball, when you get to Omaha, it's amazing, David, how many people you run into in Omaha. I remember my first day there having lunch, and a guy sat down next to me, and that's where he lived, in Omaha. And when he asked me what I did, I told him I was with the U of A, and he started reciting stories about past U of A baseball teams that had been in Omaha. I mean, wow. Starting with, Terry Francona and Jerry Kendall and Chip Hill, et cetera. And everywhere you went, people they know Arizona baseball because of the history and the tradition the program has had in the past. And so that's just another great part about being there, because that tradition lives on. And this team gets a lot of credit for getting there and again, keeping that tradition alive.
Talking with Brian Jeffries. He is the voice of the Arizona Wildcats. For Brian, for folks that maybe have never been to Omaha, it's obviously a bucket list type of thing to be able to go there, but what's something that they need to do maybe when they go to Omaha? Obviously there's the baseball, but maybe outside of baseball, what's something maybe you do routinely when you go there when the Wildcats are playing?
Well, when they built a new stadium, the first couple of years I was in Omaha, they played at Rosenblatt, and it was not centrally located. It was right next door to the Henry Dorley Zoo and a neighborhood, and that was about it. And so you felt a little bit removed. You drove to the ballpark every day. And when they built a new one downtown, now everybody's within walking distance. Yeah. And so you don't need a car. All the hotels are within a few blocks, and you get out and walk and you see the town. And Omaha, of course, has embraced that event for 75 years now. And the local businesses have stepped forward. They built a lot of places down around the ballpark, so you can find plenty to eat and drink. And if you want to get out further than that, you can walk over the bridge and say you went to Iowa for a couple of minutes. If you want to do that, if you want to get in a car, you can go out to the zoo. They have an outstanding zoo there. But so much of it's about baseball and just being downtown and feeling the vibe. Because even if you're not in the stadium, and the thing that one of the amazing sights that you don't get to see unless you're there is that outside the stadium they have the Fan Fest. They have acres of restaurants and bars and things that they set up strictly for the World Series, just a whole village out there. And there must be a couple of thousand people that are just in that village during the games. They don't have tickets to get in. They're just out there, and you can watch the games on big screen TVs, and just being around the feeling of being at the World Series. I mean, that's enough right there to propel you, along with seeing some of the other sites. There's an Old Town area of Omaha that's got some great little shops you can get to, but it's really all about baseball for 2 weeks, and that city just does a marvelous job. It's why that event has to stay there forever.
Yeah, I made a few trips to Council Bluffs. back in my time in the AAA realm of baseball, and we'd go in and play the Omaha Royals for sure. Interesting part of the country there between Omaha and suburban Iowa, as I like to call it. Brian Jeffries joining us. He is the voice of the Arizona Wildcats. Brian, obviously we're about to enter into a new era of college athletics, and as somebody that's been a part of this now for 37 years, what's your best advice to fans about how they should look at all of these new changes and revenue sharing? Should they even worry about that kind of thing? Should they just not worry about it and just be fans and fall in love with the players and fall in love with them while they're here, knowing that maybe they might not be here next year? How would you best address them to kind of attach their fandom moving forward?
Well, I've been asked that probably a million times now, and most of it's in regard to my job. And they say, okay, how do you adjust to it? And my answer is real simple, and is, well, I didn't have a vote in the matter, so I'm just going to roll with the punches, and that's exactly what I tell everybody else. I mean, nothing's going to change in terms of you go to the games and you watch your favorite team and you root them on. Now, what goes on financially beyond that? College athletics, it's a big money business. It always has been. This just kind of changes the dynamics of it in a different way. It means that athletic departments have to adjust, their revenue streams and how they distribute it, et cetera. But it's part of the evolution. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. But as of right now, until somebody tells me differently, the teams are still going to be on the field, and they're going to do exactly what they've done every year since the sports were invented, and that they're going to go out and try and win games because that's why they play the game, to go out and compete and win. And so, there's other things now. There's other dynamics that are part of it, but I don't think as fans you should be concerned about it. I mean, I think the schools are going to probably ask more of the fans now. I mean, I don't know if that means ticket prices, donations, et cetera. That's the way the world turns right now in college athletics. They have to find new ways now to generate more revenue because they have additional expenses now that are going to be needed for the foreseeable future.
Brian Jeffries joining us. Brian, where's vacation this summer going to take you and the family?
Oh, somewhere where it's under triple digits.
Back up to the great Northwest, probably, I would think, for sure.
Yeah, probably a couple places, but just try and cool off a bit. That's always, I think that's all our goals this time of the year is, be it a few days, a couple of weeks, whatever you can do. You just want to get out and enjoy some other parts of the world and see what it's all about.
Maybe I should try that. I'm instead of going to 98 and 100% humidity next week versus going somewhere maybe up in the Northwest or the mountains where it's a little bit cooler. Have you ever been to Wrigley Field? I'm going to Wrigley Field next week. Brian, you got any suggestions for me in Chicago?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a kind of a sad. I'll make it short, but I was on a business trip with some of my colleagues. We were actually back in Kentucky, and we planned it so that, and I think this was, I want to say it was in June, maybe it was July, and we planned it to have an overnight in Chicago and see a Cubs game. We got our tickets. We flew into Chicago, stayed at the hotel, got up the next day game, of course, got up the next morning, went down to Wrigleyville, had lunch. We were literally across the street from the ballpark. We were looking out the window, and there it was. And it's getting close to, I can't remember, it was 1 o'clock or whatever the game time was. And we're ready to go. And guess what? It starts raining. Yep. Yeah. And so the game got rained out. And, there was 8 of us. And, we weren't about ready to, try and figure out how to get home because we're all going to have to, pay to stay an extra night, et cetera. So that was it.
Oh, wow.
That was it.
That stinks. That stinks for sure.
Yep.
You don't normally go over to Big 12s, do you? Over in Media Day?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still debating on that.
Okay.
It's I know it's coming up here in July, and but speaking of heat and humidity, Texas is probably not the place you want to hang out if you don't have to.
Exactly right. And I want to ask you.
I haven't quite decided yet.
And I want to ask you. Obviously, you guys don't broadcast track, but you've been around that building probably as long as Fred Harvey has been around that building, and he has called it a career. Just any Fred Harvey stories that you'd like to share with the folks out there, having worked with him for so long?
Yeah, he's always been one of my favorite people. First of all, he's always got a positive outlook on life and everything, and a smile on his face, always willing to stop and talk to you about anything. It doesn't have to be track and field. And, he would send out, he would post like emails, I think, to the department sometimes before game, not just track and field, but, for other sports too, just kind of I don't know, what do you want to call it? Just a little bit of a, hey, let's go get him, guys.
Yeah.
And people always enjoyed that. I mean, that's just the kind of guy he was. It wasn't all about him. It wasn't all just about track and field. That was his specialty, of course, but he was a supporter of all the student athletes and all the programs. And that's one thing I'll always remember about him, that he was a guy that, because his office was like about as close to mine as you can get. And so, we crossed paths, every week, it would seem like. And he always said hello, always wanted to stop and talk. Great guy.
There you go. Fred Harvey, indeed. Great gentleman, for sure. Well, Brian, if you are going to Texas, we might check in with you in a couple of weeks. If not, we'll give you a break and talk to you again at some point in late August as we get ready for another football season.
Outstanding. Thanks, David. We'll see you.
Enjoy your time off. Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats, going on year 38, I do believe it is, if I'm right on that number. I've got to write that down, so I probably should have that on my board in here so I know exactly. But I know it's high 30s for sure for Brian Jeffries. DK on the Sports Tip, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. With a collision reported from earlier, River and Hacienda del Sol and River Road. Also collision Grant and Oracle and Grant Road. Some minor construction restrictions for traffic on Oracle at Grant. 75 the overnight low, 101 tomorrow, and 101 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
When you hear crunch, whine, boing, Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch, whine, boing. No matter what kind of crunch, whine, or boing your AC is making. We fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free.
We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right. We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch, whine, boing. If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours. If we don't make it, your repair will be free.
No matter how big the crunch,
boing, or whine.
Wait, I thought I was whine.
You're crunch. I'm crunch. You're boing. I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me.
William is crunch.
Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
Ever wish you could get advice from your future self?
Psst. Hey, you, present self.
Huh? Who said that?
It's me. I mean you, from 40 years in the future.
Future me?
Wow. Look, there's no time. The most important thing you need to do right now is go to Tobacco Barn.
Tobacco Barn? Why?
We could have saved a fortune.
What are you talking about?
At Tobacco Barn, you save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products. 40%! Do you know how much that adds up to over 40 years?
40%? Wow, that's a lot.
And get this, you pay no city or state sales tax. It's basically free money. Plus, there's a $3 coupon available at TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
A $3 coupon? No sales tax, 40% off. Why didn't you tell me sooner, future self?
By the way, when you meet a girl named Charlene, don't ask her to marry you.
I already did.
Oh, crud.
Don't wait for your future self to tell you. Save today at Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway, 1 mile south of Valencia. Check TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Sponsored by Rumble. Join millions who trust Rumble's top live streaming personalities to break down the news that matters in real time. Miss the live stream? Catch the full video replay on demand with zero censorship. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams 4th of July sale and get 30% off paints and stains June 27th through July 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Bill Ryder of the Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Danny Ainge, who runs basketball operations for the Utah Jazz, did the unthinkable Wednesday night. He drafted Ace Bailey with the 5th overall pick, even though Bailey didn't want to be a member of the Jazz. I love it. It's about time GMs started putting their organizations first and saying to young players, this is how the system works. Welcome to Utah. I'm Bill Ryder.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. Give us a call. Let us know what is on your mind. You know what's on my mind right now? How about your BetMGM Network top play of the day?
I'm Rob Brown, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. The Commanders are coming off of a, surprising to some of y'all, but not me, NFC Championship run with Jaden Daniels winning the Rookie of the Year. Like I said, you're welcome. This offseason, Washington made great moves in adding Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil. I love the Commanders over 9.5 wins in 2025. I'm Rob Brown. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today.
All right, so he likes... Rob Brown, the Commanders over 9.5 wins. Now, this was an interesting stat that I was not aware of. The Commanders last year, in going all the way to the NFC Championship game, won 11 of their 12 games last season against teams that did not make the playoffs last year. So
Don't
there's
they still weight it, the schedule based on your previous record the year before?
Yes. Something
Yeah,
like
there
that.
you go.
Yeah. Something
So-
like that. So there's actually a little bit of dissent. I don't know if I would call it dissension, but there's a little bit of disagreement at BetMGM right now because Rob Brown, who you heard right there, likes the Commanders over 9.5 wins, which at last check over at the Desert Diamond Casino was minus 122. So that's a pretty good chance that most people think that they're going to get that number. But there is another, I think it was Ryan Horvat over at the BetMGM. He doesn't like the Commanders just from the sheer fact that, again, they played such a soft schedule last year, and their schedule is much more difficult this year than it was last year. So you've got Ryan Horvat who says he's taking the under 9.5, which is actually plus money because it's right now it's getting less of a bet right now. And you got Rob Brown who's taking the over 9.5. So are the Commanders going to be as good this year as they were last year is the question.
Here's the thing. You're looking at the schedule. You got to remember, it's a rookie quarterback they had last season. Right. This is going to be the sophomore slump year. It doesn't always happen. I can't say that. But this is something that I think a lot of people get really high on a team that had a lot of success with a rookie quarterback, and they think, they're going to continue that into the next season because they're only going to get better. Look at C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Took us considerable step backwards, I would say, compared to what they had in C.J. Stroud's first season. Overall, this year for them, going to be a little bit tricky because they went from facing the AFC North, which was kind of a top-heavy division last season. I mean, again, with the Bengals having issues on defense, the Ravens, I would argue, probably the only consistent team on both offense and defense. This season, you got the AFC West, which means you've got the Chiefs, which means you've got the Chargers, which means you've got the Broncos. It's not going to be easy pickings when you're looking at just the AFC slate. And the rest of their NFC slots, it's going to be a really, really tough season. I don't know about them going over 9.5. I think they'll probably get to that 9 wins plateau, and that'll be probably about as good as it gets.
Now, you do have, obviously, you mentioned the Chargers and the Chiefs, and they have those 2 games on the road. But just looking at the top half of their schedule anyway, they open against the Giants. That's probably going to be a win. They've got the Raiders at home in week 2. They got to go to the Falcons, who are kind of still a little bit wishy-washy. The Bears are maybe going to be better, but they're not going to be a great team. And then they get the Seahawks at home, Lions at home, Dolphins at home.
That's a neutral site game.
Oh, that's a neutral site game.
Yes, that's
Dolphins?
a neutral site game.
Where's that at?
That game, I'm pretty sure that's one of the international games. That's the Madrid game.
It is.
They're
It's
out
at
in
7:30
Spain.
in the morning. Yeah, it's at 7:30.
So that's not going to be an easy one for them. But that being said, neither will be for Miami, although they'll be probably doing better in that heat compared to what the Commanders will be. But look at the last 5 or 6 games of the season, DK.
Broncos,
at Minnesota, at New York, which, again, NFC East games, it can go either way.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about it. Then you play the Eagles twice in 3 weeks.
Yeah, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles is the finish.
Yeah, yeah. Not easy. They were 12-5 last year. So you're saying, will they win at least 10 games versus winning 8 this year, or 10 or 9, because you could fall 9 and still be under. I think they still win 10 games. I think I would take at the moment I would take the over on that. At the moment,
I think it depends if Dallas is better than 7-10 and New York Giants are better than 3-14, right? Because that would be the real question.
Yeah, and also how many of those coin flip wins and losses are the Commanders going to be able to get this season compared to last? The amount of one possession games that this Commanders team won last year is what was phenomenal, and one of the reasons why a lot of people had them as a dark horse to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl when it came down to the championship game against the Eagles. But nonetheless, I still think that you're probably going to look to see a little bit of regression from Jaden Daniels and company.
All right, so we'll let you decide. What do you think? Maybe we'll make that one of our questions of the day coming up here soon. Maybe as we get closer to football. Commanders under 9.5. Commanders over 9.5. If you're a Commanders fan and want to get on that now, I want to hear from you. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. All right, we got a win in our BetMGM Network Top Play. We got a win last night with the Rangers over the Orioles.
And the right-hander's 2-2. Swing and a miss. Wow, we had Holiday absolutely baffled on that changeup. DeGrom's had some good fortune there, but he goes with a slider, and Sanchez strikes out swinging. Back-to-back Ks. Here's the payoff, and a swing and a miss. He got him on the slider. The 0-2, and a swing and a miss. And 99 miles per hour past Jordan West.
Jacob deGrom, who had a perfect game into the 7th inning of that contest last night for the Rangers as they beat the Baltimore Orioles by a score of 7-1 last night. Is your dad over the fact that he doesn't pitch with the Mets anymore?
Oh, he thinks that he's going to be coming back to the Mets before you know it. Because, again, the trade deadline's coming up. They're going to need some extra pitching, but deGrom showing back his usual form. Very good sign for the Rangers, who really needed some bright spots right now, because at 40-41, I don't know what their likelihood is of getting in a wild card race in the AL, but it's not looking pretty.
Yeah, he had only started 9 games the previous 2 seasons due to injury, but a full 16 and really pitching well. I mean, he's going to be an all-star. This will be his first, because he has not been an all-star since his second to last Mets year at 33 years old. And so he's 8-2 with a 2.08 ERA in 16 starts, 94 Ks in 95 and a third innings. So good strikeout per 9 ratio at almost 9. So Jacob deGrom likely headed back to the All-Star game. So that would give him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 All-Star or 5 All-Star selections and a Rookie of the Year in his career.
And a Cy Young.
Yeah, and a Cy Young. That you could probably make a case for 2 Cy Youngs, right?
I believe
he won back-to-back.
I believe he's got 2. Yeah,
2 Cy Youngs. I think that probably makes a case for Cooperstown, I would think.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tough because there's going to be a lot of people that say, like, well, his prime was cut short because of it. But in the end, if you got the kind of stuff that Jacob deGrom has shown in his best moments, I think the guy deserves to have a conversation. Again, back-to-back Cy Youngs in 2018, 2019. He's a world champion, although, again, he didn't play in that World Series. But nonetheless, I mean, this is a guy that I would argue could and should be in the short talk for Cooperstown.
Only 92 wins, though.
I was going to say 200 used to be the benchmark. Yeah. 300 is never happening ever again.
No.
92 and 59 is his official overall record.
Yeah.
I mean, there's never been a pitcher in the Hall of Fame with under 100 wins, right? So, I mean, clearly the seasonal wins, but the injuries, it's just taken so much air out of his ability to stack those wins together. So you wouldn't imagine a 12-year veteran with those kind of accolades that you just mentioned would only have 92 wins.
I mean, he has not had a 30-start season since before the pandemic. So, but good to see him back and pitching well right now. So we got to win. Go ahead.
If Sandy Koufax can get in over only playing 12 seasons, I think Jacob deGrom's got the argument to also have to get a chance to get in there.
There you go. So we got a win last night with the Rangers over the Orioles. We also got a win yesterday. The Cardinals beat the Cubs. We had them on the money line as well. So we picked up $12.64 in that game there. We did not get the win, though, on the play of the day from yesterday. Jeremiah Fears going in the top 5 of the NBA draft. He, in fact, did not go until the 7th pick, I believe it was, in the NBA draft last night for Jeremiah Fears. So we lost on that one there.
I got the Hall of Fame numbers. You ready?
Yes.
So the fewest wins for a Hall of Fame starting pitcher is Candy Cummings with 145, Dizzy Dean with 150, Addie Joss with 160, and Sandy Koufax with 165. Least amount of wins for starting pitchers in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's going to be tough because I don't know that he gets to 150. I mean, he's not the way the game is now.
No, and not only that, with him already being 37, it's gonna be rough. So a lot of those lack of offensive seasons for the Mets are gonna maybe cost deGrom in a lot of arguments among those writers.
Yeah, Paul Skeens is in the same path. Right now,
he's very much so.
They're going to have to, it begs the question, what's the new, we've got to come up with maybe a new level of
DK, we cannot come up with a new statistic or barometer to make an argument for pitchers, and we still can't come up with a barometer we can all agree with as football fans over what makes an offensive lineman worthy to get to the Hall of
I
Fame.
do think run support should be factored in. I do think as a starting pitcher, let's say your career ERA, like DeGrom's career ERA is like 230, 240. And that's amazing for a career. Are you kidding me? However, as you said, those Mets did not give him a lot of run support. There has to be some kind of relative comparison to how many runs a starting pitcher on average gets per their starts relative to their ERA, because that's certainly a factor.
I'm still surprised that never became like a stat that was used a lot. I started keeping that during, I think, my years in AAA. I started keeping run support on all of our pitchers just to kind of find out what they were getting and in that respect. But it's something that we talked about, but never really just kind of caught on as one of those analytics, which I'm surprised, because it's such an important piece in how much, and especially from the win-loss side of things, but I think the devaluation of the win-loss is another reason why maybe that never caught on.
DK, I love the man, but do not give guys like Kevin Vance more ideas about how to make baseball more complicated for the average person.
So last year, Skeens was 11-3 with a 1.96 ERA. This year, his ERA has ballooned to 2.12, and he's 4-7.
There you go. There you go. Well, you got
and we just got that benching O'Neal Cruz because he doesn't have effort in the outfield.
Holy mackerel. What's going on with that guy? Holy mackerel, yeah. We had 2 games already today, which we had plays on. We had the Cardinals over this. We had the Cardinals-Cubs yesterday. We tried to get the Cardinals over the Cubs again today at plus money. That did not work out because the Cubs won the game today in the finality of that series at Wrigley Field. We also had the Astros and the Phillies for a second time this week, under 7.5. That was a really excellently pitched series between those two teams. Yesterday's game, we had the Phillies Astros under 7.5 yesterday. It was 1-0. And we had the Phillies Astros under 7 today, and the Astros won 2-1. So there was some great pitching in that series between the Phillies and the Astros. All right, DK on the Sports Tip. Those are your BetMGM Network top plays. Follow us. We'll update you where we are in our standings and all that tomorrow. We are actually under 100. We're back under minus $100. So we're trending. We're not close to getting solvent, but we're trending back that way over the course of the last few days. Dragon Ball is here with everything happening in sports in Southern Arizona and around the world.
Well, again, another day, another Arizona Wildcats coach getting an extension. Now, Big 12 gymnastics head coach John Court is going to be getting his updated contract. Again, the financials were not disclosed, but Court will stay with the U of A through the 2028 season following the Cat reaching the NCAA Seattle Regional Final in this year's NCAA tournament. His 7th season with the program, he won Big 12 Coach of the Year after having the Cats finish 2nd in their brand new conference. And seeing some reports here right now, looks like the U of A is getting a new pitcher out of the transfer portal. Luke Flatus, left-handed starter out of Tulane, seems to hint that his next chapter is with the U of A in a social media post he just put out as well. And former Ravens star kicker Justin Tucker has been officially suspended by the NFL for the first 10 weeks of the upcoming regular season following an investigation to his personal conduct violations. And fans will remember Tyler Loop, Arizona's former place-kicking specialist, drafted by the Ravens, and then very shortly after Tucker was released. We'll see if Tyler Loop will be able to go ahead and win out in the stiff competition for the Baltimore Ravens' new starting kicker job. And also, we have other updates in Major League Baseball. Wander Franco has been officially found guilty in a sexual abuse case. So the shortstop for the Rays will have a suspended 2-year prison sentence after he was found guilty again with sexual abuse of a minor in the Dominican Republic in a long and lengthy court case he's had away from the sport. And I'm Dragon Ball with your 2020 Sports Update on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Grant and Swan, a reported vehicle fire. That vehicle fire might be off on private property, but expect fire crews near Grant and Swan, and also collision that occurred at Oracle and Grant. 75 the overnight low, 101 tomorrow, and 102 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
Sponsored by Rumble. From spicy podcasts to wild live streams, there's always something new on Rumble. Watch, comment, and connect with a real community that's actually awake. Comment in the live chat and talk directly to your favorite streamers. Rumble provides you with your daily dose of uncensored fun, facts, and fire. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
The summer is hot, but you don't have to be hot. Your air conditioner works hard to keep you cool all summer long. Call Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to keep your air conditioner running in tip-top shape for the long, hot summer. Our highly trained technicians will provide peace of mind knowing that you will be comfortable throughout the hot weather. Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. 520-492-0748.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams 4th of July sale and get 30% off paints and stains June 27th through July 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/music. That's ethos.com/music.
Looking for a lunch spot with a twist? Come to DeBella's Brunch and Booze, a family-owned gem serving up unique eats like the Cluckin' Oinker Monte Cristo, the green chili pulled pork, and their decadent cinnamon baked apples. Pair your meal with a cold brew coffee, a bubbly mimosa, or a refreshing draft beer. Relax and enjoy it all on their spacious patio with stunning views of the surrounding area. They're open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. so you can satisfy your cravings any day of the week. Find them at 9630 North Oracle Road. Follow on Facebook to stay updated on the latest specials and events. DeBella's Brunch and Booze, where local flavor meets unforgettable taste.
And this Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from DeBella's Brunch and Booze. You can get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com. Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the show. It is the third hour of our program today. We're going to talk some Diamondbacks coming up here as the Snakes have the day off before they open up a 10-game homestand on Friday night. The Marlins will be in town first for 3. Then it'll be the division foes from San Francisco, the Giants, for 4. And then it'll be an interleague series with the Kansas City Royals coming up. That will be a 3-game series to finalize the 10-game homestand for your Arizona Diamondbacks. So we'll talk some Diamondbacks with Jack Summers coming up here in this hour at 5:20 with Diamondbacks on SI as well. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We mentioned early in the show, and you heard in Dragon Ball's update as well, that in terms of the Arizona Wildcats, they finished 43rd overall in the Directors' Cup for this year. And John Court has gotten an extension, the gymnastics coach at the University of Arizona. It was interesting because the Wildcats announced the extension earlier this week for Chip Hale. And our friend Kim Das over at AZ Desert Swarm, I think it was either that day or the next day, sent out a tweet that basically said, well, I guess all the women's coaches are either going to retire or quit here coming up in the next year, because there are a ton of women's coaches whose contracts are up. And we've talked about the fact that Caitlin Lowe's contract is up. She's heading into her contract is up next year. She's heading into a renewal year. We saw it earlier this year with the women's basketball program. Adia Barnes was heading into a renewal year before she made the decision to leave and go take the job at SMU. John Court, his contract was through 2026, so he was heading into a renewal year until he got his 3-year extension today. They announced the extension earlier, I think it was yesterday actually, for Ryan Stotland. That one's a little bit harder to kind of gauge because this was Ryan Stotland's 7th year as head coach of the women's tennis program. So I would imagine he may have already been extended before this year, but got a second extension, because I don't have a hard time believing that he would have signed a 7-year deal when he was hired back in 2018. Certainly could have, but that's not the norm. So I would think that maybe there might have been an extension for him at some point that just wasn't announced, because I could not find any record of him having been extended. But Ryan Stotland, deservedly, he's taken the team to the postseason the last 2 years, got an extension. You have to believe that maybe we'll find out next about an extension for Caitlin Lowe. I mean, there's been heavy action. They've had a lot of stuff going on with transfer portal, a lot of girls transferring out, but girls transferring in as well. So it's been a busy last few weeks for the Arizona softball program. So you have to believe that they've probably already inked that deal, and they just haven't announced it yet with Caitlin Lowe. And then there's Becca Morris, the soccer coach. She came in with Jed Fish. You know how long ago that was. She's going into year 5 of what we imagine. I could not find anything that had been posted about how long her deal was, but you got to believe generally the norm is a 5-year contract for most head coaches in college athletics. So indeed, if Becca Morris signed a 5-year deal, she's heading into the final year of her contract. Again, don't quote me on that. I don't know that for sure, but I would gauge that's probably where we are there. So we may possibly see a slew of renewals here in the next few weeks. Maybe not. Maybe, and you never really want to do this. You never really want to have a coach go into the final year of their contract, but that's what the case was with Ryan Stotland. His contract was actually up on June 30th. So we have, 3 more days left of fiscal, 27, 28, 29, 4 more days of the fiscal. So his contract was up in 4 days. And they announced his renewal yesterday. So they took his right to the very end. I don't know that you want to do that in one of your main sports like softball. So that's why I have to believe that they've already got a deal with Caitlin, and we just have not heard about it yet. So we'll wait and see here over the course of the next 2 weeks as we get into the new fiscal year starting July 1st about other potential extensions for the Arizona Wildcats athletic program and coaches. We were talking about Fred Harvey earlier, some movement as well on the track side. Was disappointed to hear that Francesca Green is not going to be retained. I've known, obviously, Francesca since I got here in 2008. Tremendous woman. Does a lot that in the community that it's not talked about. And it's just a shame that she's not going to be here moving forward, because she is a really, really great lady, and we wish Francesca Green nothing but the best. She's going to fall somewhere and continue to be an outstanding track coach. The other piece of interesting news that came out of the track transition is that Bernard Lagat will not be continuing as the head coach at cross country. And we talked a little bit about that earlier this week, that one of the things that has got to happen with this track transition is you have got to get the cross-country program put back together. Because in terms of, you heard Desiree Reed-Francois, and again, head on over to our website, Wildcats Radio 1290, if you missed the interview we did with her the other day. The 50s is not where it's at. The 40s, really, in the Directors' Cup is not where it's at. It's not where this program should be. This program should be better. Are they a top 25 program? That's where they want to be, top 25. I don't know that this is a top 25 program anymore. That there may be years where you can get there, but that's going to be very difficult. And it really starts, like, again, I think it starts with the track and field program. And one of the reasons it starts with track and field is because essentially track and field counts for 6 sports. So you have 21 sports at the University of Arizona, and 6 of them are track and field in terms of scoring in the Directors' Cup. So you cannot be bad at track. You have to be able to score at track on the national level. You have to be able to score at track, because that's 6 sports. You have men's and women's cross country, then men's and women's indoor track and field, which gets points, and then you have outdoor track and field that gets points. So that's 2 programs essentially for 6 sports. So you have got to be able to score in track and field, especially if you're a program like Arizona, because I told you, 16, you got to score in 16. It takes about 16 sports to get postseason points for you to be a top 25 program in the Directors' Cup. And if your track program is not scoring, it just becomes very difficult to do that for a school like the University of Arizona. And so they've either got to figure out the cross-country piece, because that is a piece that has not, again, I think since the last time the women finished second, I believe it was in 2014, but nothing. There's been nothing postseason-wise out of either cross-country program in 11 years now. And that piece has got to be fixed moving forward. And the other thing is you got to get back to being a strong swimming program. I mean, Arizona, and you heard Desiree say, she even admitted, I hate to be revisionist, in going back to the 90s when Arizona was a top 10 program every year in the Directors' Cup. But part of that was because they were so strong in swimming. And we just have not been a strong program in the pool for about the last 5 or 6 years now. I remember when I got here the summer of 2008. They were coming off both the men and the women winning national championships. I mean, swimming was the talk of the campus the summer I got here. 17 years later, I mean, they've had a year where the men didn't score at all at the NCAAs. That was last year, not this past year, but the year before. So swimming and track are very critical. Very critical. We can talk about basketball. We can talk about football in terms of putting this program up nationally, but it's those smaller sports, folks. It's swimming. It's track and field. Those are sports that are critical to the Arizona Wildcats being the top 25 program they want to be in the Directors Cup. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We are joined now. Okay, we're down to 3, so I got to make sure I have the right shot here. Yeah, there we go. So you guys, I get fooled sometimes here. So I got the right shot. Cricket joins us now. Cricket, have you ever been to Chicago?
No.
No. Do you know anything about Chicago?
No.
Do you watch any of those? You only watch Below the Deck. Do you watch any of those Chicago shows? They've got, I think they've got Chicago PD. They've got Chicago Fire. It's like a whole night of like just programs about Chicago first responders. You watch any of those shows?
No, I watched. Wasn't Shameless based in Chicago?
Yes,
I watched that.
You watched Shameless.
That's pretty ghetto. That's a family with some problems.
Shameless. That was one of my favorite shows when it was on Showtime.
And they had the Alibi Bar or whatever.
Yes, the Alibi Bar, right?
Or pub or whatever it's called.
Exactly. That was a really, really good, underrated show on during its time on Showtime. For sure. I didn't even know they had bad neighborhoods like that.
Oh, you didn't? See, like then I saw that and I think every neighborhood there is like that.
Right, exactly.
I think that's from the south side.
Jesus, right?
Because didn't they always joke, we're from the south side of Chicago.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. You want to talk about some dangerous streets of Chicago in a TV show? Probably Boardwalk Empire would be my go-to.
Boardwalk Empire. Was that on cable?
That's one of those HBO shows, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
It's either HBO or Showtime. It was one of the two, but that was the Prohibitionist era gangster story. It starred Steve Buscemi.
Oh, I dig that dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. Oh, I get. What's it again? Boardwalk.
Boardwalk Empire. It's mostly in Atlantic City, New Jersey, but they do have a couple of spots where they go into like Chicago and stuff like that.
I'm writing that down because that sounds like something I might like.
All right, who was your favorite character on
Shameless?
Yeah,
I thought Kevin was the VIP.
Oh,
he was
Kevin.
married to V.
Yeah,
they eventually got married.
Yeah,
but yeah, I really liked him, and I thought Carl was cool. Who about you?
I liked Lip. Lip was my guy.
Oh yeah, Lip, of course.
Yeah, he's the older brother. Yeah, he was, and he's gone on to do some other things. He's a really good actor, Jeremy Allen White, very good actor, extremely good actor. So yeah, I liked Lip. I thought Debbie was funny too. Debbie,
man,
as she got older, she just became even like I totally saw her kind of being the one that would eventually kind of take over as she got older.
She was out of control, man. She was like mobster level. She was.
Wait a minute.
Like, where'd she learn how to do that?
Yeah, right.
She was
the,
young.
The greatest, longest running television series of all time stars in Chicago, ER.
Oh, that's
I
you're
never
right.
watched
Yes.
that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, ER was in Cook County Hospital in Chicago.
Right.
no kidding.
I watched ER for a number of years. That was one of my shows.
George Clooney.
Yeah, George Clooney. Absolutely. Who was the other guy that played the other main doctor? And then there was which is funny because I when I went back to Cleveland last couple weeks ago, I got hooked on like where we stay. We stay at my wife's sister's house, and they don't have like actual cable. They've got just like it's like smart TV, but you have like 1,000 channels or something like that. And so I got hooked on one of those nostalgic channels that was showing like old episodes. I don't know if you ever watched Cold Case. Did you ever watch Cold Case?
I think I did.
Yeah, they was showing like Cold Case, and then after that, it was an episode of The Good Wife. I used to watch. So those were both two shows I used to watch, like in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Chicago too.
Yeah, The Good Wife.
I think so.
I think you might have been right on that. Yeah. So I was like, oh my god, I could never live here because I would just be watching my old shows. Like that's all I need to go. That's all I need to do is start going back and watching my shows from like the 1990s and the 2000s every single day.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's going back.
Indeed. Did you have a favorite? Did you watch Shameless, David, or no?
I did not.
Okay. All right.
I was busy watching Boardwalk Empire.
No kidding. That sounds good. I'm going to look into that.
There you go. All right, Cricket is here getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Some road work, Dodge Boulevard closed north of and south of Grant Road. You could use Alvernon Way instead. And that closure is due to this big widening project on Grant, east of Country Club to east of Columbus. And instead of using Grant, you could maybe use Pima or Glen instead. Overnight lows 75, 101 tomorrow, and 102 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Shop Mattress Firm's July 4th sale and reclaim your restless nights. Choose from a curated premium selection of mattresses to find just the upgrade you're looking for. Get matched, sleep at night.
Did you miss the big game?
They need a 3 to get to overtime.
You know we got you covered.
Mid-court, shot is up. Good! Love has hit a 3. We're going to overtime.
Trying to keep it close, and you never give up. I guess that's life in the Big 12.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Back to Eugene Snarkle, rising UberTube star, and his best friend, Doug.
Eugene, you've been working on my car's brakes for 3 days now. Is there a problem? And what's with all the orange stuff on your t-shirt?
Research, Doug.
The orange stuff is research?
No, I'm doing research for my next UberTube video on fixing brakes. I need the Chizo snack food to power my 72-hour video binges. It gets a little messy, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice.
It looks like the only sacrifice is my car, and maybe that white t-shirt covered in Chizo dust.
So, can you hand me that metal thingy?
You mean this wrench?
Well, if that's what you want to call it.
Eugene, I need my keys. I'm heading to Jack Furrier's.
Great choice, Doug. You know, brake repair doesn't have to be expensive to be good. At Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, we've been providing award-winning service since 1960, including top-quality brake repairs at the best prices in town. Call, stop by, or go online to make an appointment. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, here to get you there.
Sponsored by Rumble. Want to join 59 million others who are tuning in to a fresh alternative to mainstream news and information that isn't delivered with an agenda? Enjoy your daily dose of happenings from a platform that fights to protect your free speech. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play Store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
When you hear crunch, whine, boing,
Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch,
whine, boing. No matter what kind of
crunch,
whine, or boing your AC is making.
we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free. We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
whine, boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free. No matter how big the crunch,
boing,
or whine. Wait, I thought I was whine. You're crunch.
I'm crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me. William is crunch. Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
Consistently beating industry benchmarks by over 25% isn't a fluke. It's Cumulus Digital. Smarter marketing with proof. We show you exactly who saw your ad by name and address. That kind of precision is why more than 4,000 businesses partner with us every month, whether they need one product or a full digital strategy. Visit cumulusdigital.com today because you're not average, and your marketing results shouldn't be either. That's cumulusdigital.com.
So hot. Hi, can I help you? Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team. But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Goodfellasac.com.
The days of waiting weeks or even months for new countertops is over. The Window Depot has a wide selection of in-stock granite and quartz countertops so you can upgrade your kitchen or bathroom now. From sleek, modern quartz to timeless granite, we have the perfect countertop to match your style and budget. And it's ready to take home today. Our team is here to help you choose the perfect countertop at the lowest price and get it home fast. Visit a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. Make the most of summer with stylish looks from Kohl's and Kohl's.com, where families come first. After finishing with one of the worst records in the WNBA last season, the Washington Mystics are turning things around. On Tuesday, they won their second straight game with a 68-64 victory over the Minnesota Lynx. The Mystics now have a 7-8 record so far this season. Washington drafted 3 first-round picks in the offseason, including star forward Kiki Iriafen. However, it's not just the new faces in D.C. that are leading the charge. In their victory Tuesday night, the Mystics were led by fourth-year player Shakira Austin, who had 19 points. Her teammate Shug Sutton also scored 12 in the win.
It felt good just to get back-to-back wins on the home floor, and I think we felt that tonight after the game when we was jumping up and down, excited and happy. We just having fun with it.
With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Jody Jackson on Westwood One.
Have you heard? Kohl's Instant Kohl's Cash event is happening now. That's right. You can get $10 Kohl's Cash to use instantly when you spend $25 or more. Get it today and spend it today on summer must-haves from your favorite brands. Yep, you definitely don't want to miss this. Get instant Kohl's Cash while you still can at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Offers end June 29th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora at Kohl's. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Sports allow us to play, learn, and grow. But there's something more important than victory. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we believe every athlete deserves to be safe. Safe from abuse and misconduct on and off the field. We equip athletes, parents, coaches, and others with the right education to recognize, prevent, and respond to harmful behavior. Join the movement to champion respect and end abuse at uscenterforsafesport.org.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Diamondbacks are off tonight. They'll be back on the field tomorrow to open up a 10-game homestand. Florida, San Francisco, and an interleague series with the Kansas City Royals on tap at Chase Field. Let's talk about the Diamondbacks coming off a 5-4 road trip. Seemed like it was a long one for sure. Took them to the East Coast, then back to Colorado, then back to Chicago, then back to Arizona. A lot of zigzagging on this last road trip. Jack Summers from Diamondbacks on SI joins us for our Diamondbacks download, and first time we've had Jack on the show. So, Jack, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Really interesting end to the road trip, obviously, with what happened with Ketel Marte and the fan incident that took place in Chicago the other night at Rate Field. And you know, I said on our show yesterday that I think, Torey Lovullo gets a lot of slack, obviously, and you might disagree with some of the things he does on the field and his managerial decisions. But I think Torey's at his best in those instances when he is really defending his players, and that showed the other night in Chicago.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on, David. I really appreciate it. Just excited to do this with you today. I 100% agree with you about Torey. That is when he's at his best. Ryan Nelson said it today. He's the type of guy players will run through walls for. At the end of the day, in my view, that's the most important thing. Are the players focused? Do they practice hard? Do they play hard? Do they give 100% effort? And in every single case that I can point to, his team always does that. So sometimes I find myself questioning this decision or that and scratching my head or even pounding my keyboard a little bit. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that he's got his players all rowing in the same direction and working their ass off, and they do.
Jack, we've we look at these fan situations, and we had the one involved last year. The World Series actually was a young man that played hockey here at the University of Arizona back in the day and was good friends with Rob Gronkowski during his time as a student here. And they banned these people indefinitely from these ballparks. But we talked about this the other day. Do you have any idea how they police that? I mean, is this like the old TV show Vegas where they would they could identify people by face when they were walking through casinos? Do they have that type of technology? I mean, how do they police banning somebody from a stadium?
Well, many ballparks do have facial recognition technology. Actually, in some ballparks, they use it to scan people to get in and place their tickets. I'm sure that they also have photographs, and security personnel are briefed on, which fans are banned from the ballparks. So, security, right? They're not going to tell you everything every trick that they have, but they do have a way to generally kind of police that. Now, how effective it is, does anybody slip through the cracks? They're not going to advertise that either, and I can't really speak to that. The bottom line here, though, is, look, the person in question here got called out for making some highly insensitive comments. The manager reacted, the player reacted, the league reacted. Does the punishment fit the crime? I wasn't there. There's videos floating around. There's interpretations. There's even video of Cattell talking about what he said. But the most important thing for me, the biggest takeaway for me, actually, is how people have come together and just said, hey, you know what? Let's stop treating each other like crap. That's the message that I think should come out of it. Doesn't matter what you believe, just treat people good. It's fine to heckle and get on guys a little bit, for their play, but don't make it personal.
Jack Summers joining us, Diamondbacks on SI. The team is off today, open-end homestand tomorrow at Chase Field. Jack, you wrote a piece today about kind of where we are nearing the halfway point of this season. Great time to kind of reflect. This was a team that made some moves in the offseason, bringing in a Corbin Burns to try to compete with the Dodgers and the Padres, which you have to do because obviously, those are two of the best teams in baseball. A ton of injuries have befell this roster. My personal opinion, I don't know if they'd be in any different position if everybody was healthy. Granted, you've had some guys that have not been in the lineup, but you've also had some guys that have not played up to or have not pitched. We can start with Zach Gallen, who's not pitched up to par. And so I think maybe the Diamondbacks are probably where they are with or without these injuries. How have you assessed what's happened through the first 2 months of this season?
I think that's partially correct. It's partially what I wrote about in the article. The starting pitching ERA is essentially the same both before and after the Corbin Burns injury. And absolutely, it's not just Zach Gallen with his 5.75 ERA. I think it's up to now. But Brandon Pfaadt's also got a 5.49 ERA. And of course, Eduardo Rodriguez spent time on the IL, and his ERA is still over 5. So those are three guys that have posted very high ERAs that you just weren't expecting that to happen. So from the starting pitching perspective, absolutely, injuries can't be blamed for what happened. I do think that losing A.J. Puck and Justin Martinez absolutely cost this team a few wins. You can't just roll off a number and say 6 or 8 or 7. That's not really a realistic way to look at it. All teams blow saves, but clearly losing those two guys prior to or up to those two guys getting hurt, April 17th, we were talking about the bullpen being a surprising strength. They had a 3.5 ERA and were like 12th or 13th in MLB. But since then, since April 18th, since A.J. Puck went down and hasn't pitched since, and Martinez was in and out before leaving for good for elbow surgery, the bullpen ERA has been 5.64. It's just been, it's been really bad. Guys that they were counting on, veterans, have just been pretty bad. And if you'd have gotten the work that you're getting out of Shelby Miller and Jalen Beeks, filling in behind a healthy Puck and Martinez, it's fairly reasonable to say that would have been maybe 2-3 wins better in the one-loss column overall.
So when you look at this, where this team stands right now, do you think they're going to maybe look to unload pieces as we get? Would they be sellers at the deadline? Do you think that they're at that point where they're ready to make a decision like that? Or do you think they like this club enough that they would just ride through this and try to bring this back as it's built next year?
I believe that the team will make a decision come, say, the third week of July, thereabouts. They're not ready to make a decision today saying we're selling or we're buying. They're not out of it. They're certainly behind the 8 ball here, but they're only 3 games out of a playoff spot, albeit with 4 teams in front of them. So it's a tough situation for them to be in. But I kind of calculated, look through the next 23 games or so up through July 23rd. That's the real trigger point. get down to 1 week before the trade deadline, that's when they'll make a final decision. Are we buyers or sellers? Or Mike Hazen very well could go to some kind of hybrid buy and sell at the same time situation like he did in 2019. If you remember, he sold Zach Greinke, got out from under his contract, brought in several thought to be major league ready players, although that trade didn't actually work out that well from a player production standpoint. But then they also traded their number one prospect, shortstop Jazz Chisholm, and got Zach Gallen, who was a rookie pitcher doing pretty good for the Marlins at the time, but still hadn't become what he was going to later be. So, there could be some kind of hybrid situation here. And don't forget, as of today, there are only 7 sellers that can be clearly identified. Maybe another couple will be added to that list out of 30 teams in baseball. So, yes, if the Diamondbacks, had a very poor record over the next few weeks and really fell out of it, they do have a lot of expiring contracts. There's 7 guys that are free agents. And they could really take control of the seller's market, but they're not there yet. They're in it to win it. Mike Hazen said repeatedly he's put this team together with the intention of winning, and he sees how hard the guys are fighting, and he's not going to pull the rug out from under them. But if he's forced to by the end of July and the team just clearly isn't in it, then he would probably do the responsible thing at that point.
Jack Summers joining us, Diamondbacks SI. Obviously, before he ended up on the IL, it was a really nice bounce-back season for Corbin Carroll, especially on the power side, 20 home runs, 44 RBIs. Still, though, low average at 255. Is there a belief, Jack, that he's going to be a better average hitter moving forward? Is he going to be a guy that can hit 300, or is he going to be maybe one of those guys that's a 270, 275 hitter moving forward that can hit you 25 home runs and drive in 80?
Yeah, well, first of all, when we talk about batting average, we kind of have to adjust our sights a little bit, right? The major league average is about 244, give or take, going into today.
That's true.
And, this isn't, I'm an old guy, so this is back in my day.
You and me both.
When league average was 270 or 265, whatever, that looks a lot different. So I do think that we need to adjust for that a little bit, right? Today's 255 is kind of almost like yesteryear's 265, 270. And then, of course, on-base percentage is probably an OPS are probably better overall measures of total offensive output. But we've also made the joke, hey, Corbin Carroll's a slugger who runs fast. I mean, that's kind of, 20 homers and league-leading 9 triples. The one thing I'll say about Corbin, and I think it is, reasonable to say that, I mean, he came into this year roughly a 260 career hitter. His career batting average right now is 257. The on-base percentages of 340 is above league average. And of course he's got power to go with it. I mean, he does take some walks. He gets hit by some pitches. So he gets on base, and of course he can wreak havoc when he gets there. Stolen bases are down, though. He's only got 10 this year, not running as much.
Any concern, Jack, do you believe within the organization that both of Jordan Lawler's stints have not resulted in much offensively?
Well, I'm sure they would have much preferred that he got off to a much better start. There are some concerns from my standpoint about his ability to handle right-on-right breaking pitches. He's crushing fastballs in the PCL, and he's handling off-speed stuff from left-hand pitching, but it's been a little bit more difficult against right-hand pitching. At least that was his track record before this latest send-out. But he's still very young, right? So we can't write off a middle infield prospect that's still, hitting the snot out of the ball in AAA. He just hasn't adjusted yet, perhaps, or maybe we have to dial down some of the expectations for what he's going to be as an offensive player. More importantly, right now, he's injured again. He missed 4 games with a sore hamstring, came back, played 1 inning, and then was pulled from the lineup after 1 inning yesterday. So I don't know what's going on with him. I actually have a request into the team to find out, but if I don't hear anything back today, then I'll have to see what Torrey has to say tomorrow.
Jack, tell us a bit about Diamondbacks on SI and what that's all about and how people can find your work.
Sure. Sports Illustrated, under Sports Illustrated's umbrella, there's the On SI group of websites, which are team-specific sites, and under Major League Baseball, there's a Diamondbacks dedicated site. So I'm the publisher and beat writer of that site, and my deputy editor is Alex D'Agostino. And between the two of us, we put out quite a lot of content following every aspect of the team. I'm a credentialed beat writer. I'm not traveling with the team this year, but I'm just I do every home game live and in person. And then, of course, we interview the manager and players and have enough access to provide a little bit extra detail and color to the analysis and updates that we provide. You can find us at si.com/MLB/Diamondbacks.
There you go. And if you're on the Twitter, you can find Jack at Shoe Wizard 59. Do you like shoes? Is that what that's all about, Jack? Are you a shoe guy?
My prior career was in footwear sourcing and manufacturing.
Wow.
I lived in Asia for many years, and I worked for a number of high-profile brands. And years and years ago, when I set up my Hotmail account, I called myself Shoe Wizard, and then, of course, I flipped over to Gmail, and Shoe Wizard was taken, so I added 59.
Okay. I was about to say, was it taken 58 times, or was 59 just a special number?
As I mentioned, I'm quite old.
There you go. And it's at Diamondbacks on SI over at the Twitter as well. Jack, hey, we appreciate you. We'd like to have you on in the future if you got some time.
Well, thanks for having me on. I enjoyed talking Diamondbacks with you, and I'm sure we'll get to do this again.
Absolutely. Jack Summers, publisher and beat writer on Diamondbacks on SI at Shoe Wizard 59. Sounds like he's probably about my age because I'm pushing close to 59 myself. All right, Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. With road work, it's the beginning phase of improvements on 5th, 6th Street between Wilmot and Campbell, and currently, road crews are affecting traffic on 5th, 6th Street between Alvernon and Campbell. With travel restrictions, turn restrictions as well, you could use Speedway or Broadway instead. 75 the overnight low, 101 tomorrow, 102 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
Discover luxury at BMW of Tucson, your premier BMW dealership. Explore our extensive inventory, lease specials, and state-of-the-art service. Visit us at the Tucson Auto Mall or at bmwoftucson.com today.
This report is sponsored by Staples.
What up, Mario Lopez here? And I love me a throwback like the Staples Easy button. It's back and bringing more easy than ever. Custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. Yeah, Staples, that was easy.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Jeep brand has always stood for American freedom. And now we're standing with you with Employee Pricing Plus. Hurry into your Jeep brand dealer for details today and join the family. Jeep, there's only one. Offer valid on select 2024 and 2025 Jeep brand vehicles for non-FCA employees and retirees. $200 admin fee applies. Not all buyers will qualify. Restrictions apply. Does not apply to leases. Ends 6/30/25. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
We all
all know just because gifts for loved ones can look like flowers, a spa day, or maybe even planning date night. But what about something that will truly last and protect your loved ones along the way? I'm talking about life insurance. I called SelectQuote to secure our coverage and couldn't believe how easy and affordable it was. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. With monthly payments less than the cost of a bouquet of flowers, this is the perfect time to make sure your family is protected.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-596-2626 or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-596-2626. 1-800-596-2626. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
It's the music event of summer, CMA Fest.
Let's go!
With can't-miss performances by Blake Shelton, Megan Maroney, Keith Urban, Kelsey Ballerini, Ella Langley, and more. Plus, one-of-a-kind collaborations featuring Brooks and Dunn and Lainey Wilson, Shabuzi and Jelly Roll, and Bailey Zimmerman and Big X The Plug. Ashley McBride and Cody Johnson host.
You guys ready to party tonight?
CMA Fest, presented by SoFi. Tonight, 8/7 Central on ABC. And stream next day on Hulu.
O'Reilly.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Window Depot wants to help bring your dream kitchen to life. As a family-owned and operated business, we pride ourselves on offering the best prices, the biggest inventory, and exceptional customer service you won't find at the big box stores. From premium cabinets to stunning quartz and granite countertops, faucets, hardware, and sinks, our designers are here to guide homeowners every step of the way, all under one roof. Find a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
This is Zach Gelb, the Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Everyone appears to think Ace Bailey isn't happy after getting drafted by the Utah Jazz. And last night I talked to Ace and he was smiling and said it's a blessing to get drafted. When I asked him to respond to the people who don't think he's happy about going to Utah, he didn't give an answer that provided much clarity. Maybe he just doesn't care what people think, which is more than fine. Either way, Utah made the right call in drafting him fifth overall, and now it's ultimately up to Ace to embrace his new home. I'm Zach Gelb.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
NBA Draft night number 2 is happening. The opening night resulted in the Phoenix Suns getting this guy.
Inside, Flag driving to the bucket. His shot over the rim, no good. Malawatch the offensive rebound. Hook it up and in.
Big man inside. Got to keep him off the glass.
Drives on Bryant. Right of the lane. No shot there. Malawatch three from the right corner is good for the big guy. That's his first one as a collegiate.
Yeah, but watching him in pregame shoot-around, he's got the stroke.
Come on, Malawatch from Duke. Malawatch from Duke is the first-round pick for your Phoenix Suns. The Suns have now made a second pick, and you want to talk about the maneuvering that they did to get to the top of the second round, it's kind of what we've been talking about all week in how Matt Ishbia, they if they get assets, they're gonna move. They like to move those assets to get into a position to either get established players or specific players. So the Suns initially were supposed to pick 52nd, I think, was their initial pick in this draft today. They acquired the number 36 pick earlier in the day from the Brooklyn Nets. So the Nets traded the number 36 pick to the Suns for two of those many future second-round picks that they had. So the Suns then had the 36th, 52nd, and 59th pick. Then the Suns traded the 52nd and 59th picks to Golden State to get up to number 41. So then they had 36 and 41. And then the Timberwolves, who were holding the first pick in the draft tonight, number 31, traded that pick to the Suns. So they traded down to 36, picked up a couple more of that mountain of second-round picks that the Suns were holding on to. So the Suns, in a matter of hours, went from having the 52nd and the 59th pick to moving up to 31 and 41. How about that? How about that by Brian Gregory? Should we be excited about that? Now, with that pick to start round two, the Suns took Rasheer Fleming, a big man out of St. Joseph's, 6'8", 232 pounds. I'll just read you a little bit of his bio. Toolsy forward, impressive highlights, improved leaps and bounds the last 3 years. Weakness, his feel for the game is a major question mark. Does not process the game quickly on either end of the floor. But the verdict is that this is a good length, shooting, potential defensive guy. I mean, we talked about how the Suns have got to get better defensively. And they have, in the course of essentially 2 days, really if you go back to Sunday, they have really rebuilt the major defensive parts of this team. Now, granted, two young guys in Malawak and Fleming, but also picking up Dylan Brooks from the Houston Rockets. Thoughts, Dragon Ball, on these moves to kind of remake the front court for the Phoenix Suns?
Oh, it's great. Who's passing the ball? It's great. I love it. It's wonderful. Now, DK,
you still got to get a point guard.
I completely understand needing to rebuild the front court, getting size down low, and having that lob threat that DK and I were talking about yesterday that the Suns just did not have last season, because that's what you're seeing now. You're seeing driving, attacking guards able to go ahead and throw it up over the top of a defense to get to a big man to just go ahead and throw it down. The problem is Devin Booker is not ever been a point guard. I know that he's got ball handling skills, but he's not an orchestrator of offense. He works better off the ball. He works better working out of the triple threat area. He is not a point guard. Why can we not find a point guard in the draft? I just don't understand it. It used to be the Suns could fall into a point guard in the draft. You had Jason Kidd, Kevin Johnson, and Steve Nash all on the same roster at one point. Now they can't get one.
Maybe that's the next move. Maybe that's the next move.
I certainly hope so.
Maybe that's the next move. I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it, though. But at least they're doing some things. Don't know a whole lot. I haven't really seen Rasheer Fleming, so we'll have to kind of wait and see how that all shakes out. But the Suns making some moves today to get up the draft board and get a player that obviously they really, really wanted to have. All right, time now for your Desert Diamond Casino replay. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. Had a chance to talk to Brian Jeffries earlier, and I asked Brian about this new era of college sports revenue share and how you should handle it all.
Well, I've been asked that probably a million times now, and most of it's in regard to my job. And they say, okay, how do you adjust to it? And my answer is real simple, and is, well, I didn't have a vote in the matter, so I'm just going to roll with the punches, and that's exactly what I tell everybody else. I mean, nothing's going to change in terms of you go to the games and you watch your favorite team and you root them on. Now, what goes on financially beyond that, college athletics, it's a big money business. It always has been. This just kind of changes the dynamics of it in a different way. It means that athletic departments have to adjust, their revenue streams and how they distribute it, et cetera. But it's part of the evolution. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. But as of right now, until somebody tells me differently, the teams are still going to, be on the field, and they're going to do exactly what they've done every year since the sports were invented, and that they're going to go out and try and win games because that's why they play the game, to go out and compete and win. And so, there's other things now. There's other dynamics that are part of it, but I don't think as fans you should be concerned about it. I mean, I think the schools are going to probably ask more of the fans now. I mean, I don't know if that means ticket prices, donations, et cetera. That's the way the world turns right now in college athletics. They have to find new ways now to generate more revenue because they have, additional expenses now that are going to be needed for the foreseeable future.
It's a little bit cooler. Have you ever been to Wrigley Field? I'm going to Wrigley Field next week. Brian, you got any suggestions for me in Chicago?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a kind of a sad. I'll make it short, but I was on a business trip with some of my colleagues. We were actually back in Kentucky, and we planned it so that, and I think this was, I want to say it was in June, maybe it was July, and we planned it to have an overnight in Chicago and see a Cubs game. We got our tickets. We flew into Chicago, stayed at the hotel, got up the next day game, of course, got up the next morning, went down to Wrigleyville, had lunch. We were literally across the street from the ballpark. We were looking out the window, and there it was. And it's getting close to, I can't remember, it was 1 o'clock or whatever the game time was. And we're ready to go. And guess what? It starts raining. Yep. Yeah. And so the game got rained out. And, there was 8 of us, and, we weren't about ready to, try and figure out how to get home because we all have to, pay to stay an extra night, et cetera. So that was it.
That is your Desert Diamond Casino. Better not rain when I go to Chicago next week to watch the Cubs. That is your Desert Diamond Casino replay brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. And that's going to wrap up our show for today. Thanks to Brian Jeffries. Thanks to Jack Summers, Diamondbacks on SI. Follow him. Thanks to Mateo Soto and Vivian Villarreal from FC Tucson for joining us in studio today. For JW Madden, for Cricket, for Dragon Ball. My name is David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Friday, 3 o'clock, right here, DK on the Sports Tip. This is Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the AutoNation Hyundai and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. It's a big widening project on Valencia, east of Kolb Road to west of Houghton. Road crews will typically be working weekdays 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. Completion expected in mid-2026. Overnight low at 75, 101 tomorrow and 102 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Shop Mattress Firm's July 4th sale and reclaim your restless nights. Choose from a curated premium selection of mattresses to find just the upgrade you're looking for. Get matched, sleep at night.
With Trainmasters in Tucson, not only do you get local, professional, full-service plumbing with 24/7 scheduled or emergency service, you get a lifetime transferable warranty on all house water repiping. Trainmasters, we do it all. Solid service, fair price, guaranteed. TrainmastersTucson.com.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center. Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 community calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
Now here's one at the top of the charts that's easy on your wallet, and it's right here at the That's What I Call Savings Sales event. O'Reilly Chevrolet's pre-owned lineup. These cars are priced right and inspected tight, so you get dependable quality without the new car price tag. See them on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check them out at O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive, and you'll say, now that's what I call savings.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Do your summer plans include travel? Make sure your prep includes more than just flights and hotels. Stay up to date with COVID-19 vaccination, especially if you're 65 or older or have certain health conditions. There have been surges in COVID-19 in the summer, too. It's important to help protect yourself no matter your destination. So check eligibility and schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. That's VAXAssist.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with ONE+. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Is it hot in here or is it just me?
Honey, I always think you're hot, but it's June, and we all know it's going to get hot in Tucson. It doesn't have to be hot in our house.
Honey, you should call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. They have the solutions for us.
For all your air conditioning needs, call today, 520-492-0748.
Or visit us at PictureRocksCooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus Media station. What does it take to work for Arizona Athletics?
Whenever we hire anyone, we talk about high, low, high. High character, low ego, high outcome and energy.
We are your home for U of A sports. Wildcats Radio, 1290.